Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto unlock a bloodline that have been only known to Hashirama part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. I say we put him through a strict and closely watched training program until he has full control of his abilities, then put him through the Clan Restoration Act, CRA. Hamura said. I agree, and Danzo has the program that would be best for that, Kohara said. I would agree with those two. He needs to be put into a training program as soon as possible, Fugaka said. Danzo smiled. I'm willing to take him into my program and have him trained. I'll even put him under the watchful eyes of Fugaka, he said. I'm against this motion. Yes, he has a great ability, but it's not worth him losing what little childhood he has just to train him to be an emotionless bastard like everyone else. Danzo trains some said. I agree with her, Hayashi said. What proof do you have that people I train turn into emotionless bastards as you put it? Danzo challenged. Itachi Uchiha is the first name that pops into my head, some replied. Danzo just sat down knowing he was beat there. The third sighed and closed his eyes. He will not be put through any special training program. Tenzo will start training him to use his Mokuton element once Naruto is out of the hospital, he said, ending the meeting. 2 hours earlier, a 5-year-old Naruto was sitting in his apartment all by himself with a couch in front of the door. He was used to spending his birthday by himself as he always did. He wished himself a happy birthday and laid down waiting for sleep to take him so he can dream about the birthday he always wanted. Next to Naruto was the training bow staff that the third got him for his 4th birthday. Every day since Naruto has been taught to use it by the third himself. Naruto clutched the bow staff and remembered the happiness he felt earlier when the third told him that he was a level 1 Barrio staff master, and that he only had 4 more levels until he mastered the weapon. Standing outside Naruto's apartment was the shyest Hyuga, and quite possibly the shyest person ever in the history of people, Hinata Hyuga. She was holding a box that had her gift for Naruto in it, trying to get enough courage to knock on the door. After gathering enough courage, she reached out, and before the door opened she heard the sound of glass breaking and yelling from inside the apartment. Hearing her crush's screams, her courage went through the roof, and she gathered chakra into her hand and hit the door lock, breaking it, and pushing the door open. She ran into the apartment, and saw 5 ninjas. All she guessed was Chunins. Clutching her present, she ran and threw herself over the injured and screaming Naruto. The ninjas, not seeing her in time, continued their attack, but before they hit them, the 2 5-year-olds they was protected by wood that jumped out of the floor and surrounded the 2. The ninjas was also thrown into the wall by a pissed-off Anko, Kurenai, and Hokage. Anko had her poisonous snakes coming out ready to attack when she was stopped. No, Anko, I can't afford to give the elders a reason to execute you. You're too skilled and talented to watch die for these bastards, the third said. Come on, just one. Anko was eyeing the one in front of her with a look that promised a slow and quite painful death. No, Anko, the third then snapped his fingers and an ANBU team was there. Take these ex-shinobis to prison, I will deal with them later, he said. Once they was gone, the 3 left turned to Naruto, and was surprised to see him covered by wood. Kurenai walked up and knocked on it. Naruto-chan, it's me, Kurenai, the bad people are gone, she said in a soothing voice. The wood slowly pulled back only enough for Naruto to peek out. Once he was sure that they was free, it all went back into the floor. Naruto-chan, how did you do that with the wood? Kurenai asked. I don't know, it just happened, Naruto replied through his pain. Naruto, you have the ability to use Mokuton element. It was used by the first Hokage, the third said. Anko was thinking something different. Hinata Hyuga, she asked. The Hyuga turned and looked at them with a deep blush and a terrified look. Why are you here? It's after 9 at night. Do your Otosan know you're here? And what's in your hand, she asked. Hinata ducked under the questions. No, I snuck out, and this is for Naruto-kun. Today is his birthday, she stuttered badly. Naruto looked wide-eyed. You got me a present, he asked in shock. She just nodded. Well, don't make us wait, let him open it, Kurenai nudged her. Hinata slowly gave Naruto the box. Naruto tore it open like it would run away and looked at an orange outfit. This is the best gift ever, he said, excited. He tried to get up to hug Hinata for the gift but stopped in pain. Itai, he yelled, holding his ribs. Naruto-kun, Hinata panicked. Don't worry, Hinata, we need to get him to the hospital, the third said. Anko grabbed Hinata while Kurenai grabbed Naruto, and they followed the Hokage to the hospital. After firing 2 nurses and breaking a few ribs of a doctor, Naruto was in a room unconscious on a bed. Will you stay here to make sure he receives proper care, the third asked. Of course, but what about Hinata? Anko asked. I'll take her with me. Hayashi is going to be at the meeting later today, she will go home with him, the third said, grabbing Hinata's shoulder and going puff with her. 30 minutes later, Naruto was healed, the best that the head doctor was willing to do. Anko and Kurenai knew that Kyubi healed him while he slept, so they let him off with a few bruises and missing teeth. They pulled the other bed over to the one that Naruto was in. Since he wasn't connected to any tubes or anything like that, they put him between the 2 and went to sleep. Naruto subconsciously snuggled into the Takunoichis. They both smiled and let sleep take them. Present time, jumping into the window that Naruto, Anko, and Kurenai was sleeping in. Akunoichi looked at the 3 and wondered how she would make this work without waking the 2. Before she could do anything, she was pinned against the wall by a few snakes. Anko and Kurenai got out the bed with kunais ready. Why the hell are you sneaking into our room? Anko asked. And who are you? Kurenai added. The kunoichi tried to raise her hand but was stopped by another snake shot out and stuck its teeth into the wall with her arm in its mouth. Anko reached up and grabbed the mask. The kunoichi they was looking at had purple rectangles under her eyes, long dark brown hair, and bright green eyes. I'm Rin, I was taught by Minato along with Kakashi, she said. Anko got over her shock. Everyone thought you was dead, she said. I bet Kakashi told you that, Rin said. Well anyway, why are you here now, Kurenai asked. I'm here with his obesan, it's a long story. But she wanted to take him away from this village and train him with love like he should have been receiving, Rin told them. I have an obesan, they heard. The three looked over at Naruto and saw him struggling to sit up. Naruto-chan, don't move, you're not healed yet, Anko, and Kurenai yelled, running to him, forgetting about Rin. Nichins, I'm fine really. I want to know more about my obesan though, Naruto said. Rin walked over to them. If it's okay with you two, I can heal him, she said. Anko and Kurenai moved to the other side of Naruto without question and watched as she healed Naruto. Now about your obesan. She is pretty pissed she was never told you was alive, she said. What's her name, Naruto asked. Konan Uzumaki. She is the youngest sister of Kushina Uzumaki, your cousin. They was split up during the Third War and have been looking for each other since. Kushina sent me out to find her. Once I told her about you being born and that Kushina would send word for her to come once Kyuubi was defeated. We traveled the shinobi world together. When he got wind of a blonde Jinchuriki, we both headed this way. We asked around about him, and as soon as someone said Naruto Uzumaki needs to die, Konan almost quite literally went on a rampage. I convinced it would be better to train you away from the village, Rin told them. So she is waiting on me, Naruto asked. Yup, she gave me 10 minutes to get you from the hospital before she destroyed it to get you herself, Rin said. Naruto looked at Kurenai and Anko. Can they come, he asked. Rin smiled while shrugging. It's their decision, she said. I'm coming, Anko said automatically. You can't get rid of us that easy, Kurenai said. Kurenai picked Naruto up and the three kunoichis jumped out the window and headed towards the village wall where Konan was waiting. Rin, I asked you to retrieve my nephew, not kunoichi, she said. I did. He asked them to come with us, and they agreed, Rin said. Fine, let's just go already before I kill the next person I see, Konan said. Wait, I'll be right back, Anko said and vanished. She returned a few seconds later with a sleeping Hinata. Sorry, but I couldn't leave her behind. It would kill her waking up and not knowing where Naruto-chan is, she said. The next day, Hayashi stormed into the Hokage's office waving a scroll in front of the third. What the hell is this? Who the hell have my daughter? He bellowed angrily. The third sighed and showed him the same letter for Naruto. I don't know, Naruto is missing also, so is Kurenai and Anko. But this letter said they will write as soon as they get the chance. At least we know they are in good hands. And the Byakugan won't be stolen, the third said. The Byakugan, screw the Byakugan, my daughter is missing, do you understand that? I don't care what happens to the Byakugan, I want my daughter, Hayashi bellowed again. The third blinked. When did you get so protective of Hinata? I thought she was too weak, he asked. Hayashi looked murderous. That has absolutely nothing to do with my daughter being missing, he said. The third sighed. I'll write Jiraiya and Tsunade and let them know what happened and ask them to keep an eye out for the two, he said. I expect to hear their reply as soon as it arrives. Hayashi then left. The third sighed and looked at his letter again. Outside of Hai no Kuni, Hinata finally woke up. Hinata stretched and looked around. Where am I? She asked. So you finally woke up, she heard a familiar voice. Breakfast is ready, the voice said again. Hinata rubbed the sleep out of her eyes and looked. Anko-san, why am I here? Why are you here? Where is here? Is the village in danger? She asked. Anko laughed. No, Hina, the village is fine. We are a few miles away from Konoha. Why you ask? Because of what happened yesterday. Naruto-chan almost died. Then unlocked his Kekkai Genkai to protect you. And his obesan finally found out he was alive and was damned if he would stay in the village, so we came with him. I brought you because I figured you would want to be with him also, she said. Hinata nodded, taking everything in. She said next to Anko and took the food and ate while thinking. I'm away from home with Naruto-kun, she blushed. He has an obesan, that's good, I'm happy for him. She took a bite of her rabbit meat. Then something hit her. I thought his family was dead, she said. Everyone did. Me and Kushi-chan was private about our family. We was the last two in our family, Konan said from across Hinata, looking at the sleeping Naruto. Hinata looked at her, then followed her eyes to Naruto and giggled. He is so cute the way he sleeps, she unknowingly said out loud. Yes, he is cute the way he sleep, Anko said. Hinata blushed. I said that out loud, she stuttered. You're going to have to get over that stuttering, Konan said. Rin smacked her in the head. Leave her alone. Not everyone has seen the things we have. She is just scared, she said. Konan rubbed the spot that Rin smacked and glared. Hinata giggled. You two act like Anko-san and Kurenai-san, she while still giggling. Kurenai swallowed the last of her food. Well, now since we only have to wait of Naruto-chan, let's start a training schedule for those two, she said. I agree that we should, but we need to find Tsunade since she is his cousin, by a few generations, and Jiraiya since he is Naruto-chan's godfather, Konan said. Wait, they knew about Naruto-kun but didn't raise him? Why? Hinata asked with stutter. Because they was denied so many times from helping him that they both vowed not to return to the village until Naruto was a genin, that way they could train him the way they wanted, Kurenai said. Naruto finally woke up and crawled over into Anko's lap, burying his face into her womanhood while trying to get a few precious minutes of sleep. Kurenai and Anko smiled. Hinata blushed. Rin and Conan tried not to laugh at the look on Hinata's face. Anko rubbed Naruto's back. Now Naruto-chan, you're too young to be that forward, she teased. Naruto immediately shot up and was on the other side of camp with a blush that was on its way to passing Hinata's worst blush. Nei-chan, what are you talking about? I was trying to sleep, he stuttered. You sure? I think I felt something moist touching my skin, she continued to tease. Naruto went wide-eyed and passed out. The four kunoichis burst out laughing. Hinata looked worried at Naruto. Kurenai shook Naruto. Naruto-chan, she was just teasing you, she said. After everyone had ate and washed in the spring they headed off again. Naruto, did Rin tell you about me? Conan asked. Well, she told me you was my obesan and was separated from my cousin during the Third War, and you was waiting on her to send you a letter to come see me, Naruto answered. Okay, first off, my name is Conan Uzumaki. You can call me Conan, obesan, or Nei-chan. She was interrupted. What about cousin? Naruto asked, looking at her. Conan looked surprised at him. If you want to, she said. I do. I think cousin would be happy for me to call you cousin, Naruto said. Well, you can call me cousin, she smiled. Conan, you was telling him about yourself, Rin reminded her. Oh right. Well, I'm the Amuto of Kushi-chan. She taught me everything I know and most of what she knows. I can use Kami Origami no Jutsu. You should be able to use them also. I'm mainly a wind type like Kushi-chan, but I can also use the other elements pretty easy except Raiton, which uses more chakra than the other elements. I spent the last 5 years traveling and training with Rin. We both have become quite the team. She specializes in medics while I'm more sealing. I'm 21, exactly 5 years younger than Kushi-chan. I think that's everything, she said. Wow, can you teach me to use Kami Origami? Naruto asked, bouncing around. Yup, that's one reason I took you from the village, Conan said. That and you was about to go on a rampage that only Kushina have ever been able to stop, Rin mumbled. Can I learn medics? Hinata quietly stuttered. Of course you can, Rin said cheerfully. Conan went into her pouch and pulled out a scroll. Here, pick out a weapon to learn first. But no, before you two become a genin you will know how to use all them, she said. Naruto looked at them. Gigi said, I'm a level 1 Barrio staff master already, he said. Conan nodded. Well, pick the bow staff. Each weapon has 5 levels to master. We will work on each for hours a day to increase the speed you learn it, she said. Why not have them use Kagebushin? Anko asked. Conan shrugged. I didn't think of that, she said. Hinata looked at the weapons and picked up a fancy and harmless-looking Chinese sword. I want to learn this weapon first, she said. Well, before you two start you need to increase your chakra to use Kagebushin without any problems, Kurenai said. For the last few hours Naruto and Hinata was made to run up and down the nearby trees in order to increase their chakra and control. By lunchtime Hinata wasn't able to stand on her own. Naruto wasn't much better, as he could barely stand. The two sat down and scarfed down their food, Hinata at a much slower and graceful pace than Naruto, but still like she hasn't ate in days. After lunch they headed off again, Conan carrying Naruto and Kurenai carrying Hinata since it would be faster than letting them run themselves. By nightfall they arrived in Nami no Kuni. Rin went to get an hotel while the rest went to find a restaurant. Once they was done eating they went to a secluded area and started taijutsu training. Hinata started with snake style, Naruto started with dragon style, taught by Conan. The next morning, after more intense chakra training that involved walking on water and hungry snakes, they headed towards Mizu no Kuni. After a few hours of running across the ocean they finally reached land. They looked around. It looks like a war has been through here, Rin said. I heard something about a bloodline purge going on here. Maybe they are fighting back instead of just letting the Mizukage kill them, Kurenai said. Let's look around, maybe we can help a few people, Rin said as the medic in her kicked in, and wanted to help all she could. Conan shook her head at her. You and you're always wanting to help people, she mumbled. Rin smiled and grabbed Conan's and pulled her along while she still had Naruto on her back. Anko and Kurenai looked at each other and shrugged and walked behind them. Kurenai looked at Rin and Conan happily hold hands as if nothing mattered and peeked over at Anko who was watching them hold hands. Kurenai slowly reached out and grabbed Anko's hand, surprising her. As the group walked they came across a girl that looked to be a year or two older than Naruto and Hinata. Rin walked over to the hut. She ducked in when she noticed them. Excuse me, why are you alone, she asked. The girl backed up from Rin. Stay back, we'll use my Hayaton if you try anything, she said. Rin put her hands up. Don't worry, I'm a medic Nin. I want to help you, she said. How do I know you won't try and kill me like Otosan did, she asked. What? Conan started but was quieted by a look from Rin. Don't worry, I will protect you with my life. You can travel with me and my family if you want, Rin said to the girl. She just moved further into the wall away from Rin. Hinata squirmed her way off of Kurenai's back and slowly walked over to the girl. Hello, I'm Hinata Hyuga, what's your name, she said with a stutter. Haku, the girl replied with a stutter. Hinata smiled. I think you should come with us. You won't have to be alone, she said, thinking about all the times she wished she could talk to Naruto like this. Haku looked at them, then back to Hinata. You promise they won't try and hurt me, she asked. Hinata nodded. I will protect you, you're my friend, she said. Friend? Really, I only ever had a friend, Haku said. Hinata grabbed her hand and led her to the others. You have two now, she said. Well, that was unexpected. And I must say it was rather sweet, Conan whispered to Rin, who just nodded. Naruto happily walked over to Hinata. Hinata, who is your friend? He asked rather loudly. This is Haku-san, Hinata replied with a stutter and blush. Hi Haku, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, he said, holding out his hand. Haku looked at it, then at Hinata, who nodded to her. I'm Haku, she shook his hand. Well, now let's see if you're injured, Rin said, going through some hand signs. Haku saw her hands turn green and backed behind Hinata. When she noticed Rin not hurting her but healing her, she relaxed. Once Rin was finished, she smiled. Well, now that your minor wounds are healed, let's get going, she said. Naruto climbed back on Conan's back while Hinata climbed on Kurenai's. Haku looked around and slowly approached Rin and climbed on her back. So what now? We can't stay here if they are killing people for no reason, Anko asked. I agree, Conan said. Haku, is there another clan in this village? Kurenai asked. Haku thought for a moment. Yes, but they are vicious and like killing each other, the Kagaya clan. I have a friend in that clan though, she might want to come with us, she finally said. Well, to the Kagaya clan as stated as Conan said. They quickly crossed the village and saw that most of the Kagaya clan was dead or dying. Haku jumped of Rin and ran over to a secret hideout, and pushed her chakra into a rock. Kirei, she yelled. A small girl crawled out the hideout with blood running down her face. Haku, I'm glad I saw you before I died, she then dropped flat on her face. Haku screamed, but Rin was already going through hand signs to save the young Kagaya's life. 5 hours later on Nagi Island, Kirei woke up with a headache. She moaned out while sitting up. Am I in heaven, she asked herself. Kirei, Haku yelled while tackling her best friend in a hug. Itai, Haku, that hurts, Kirei complained. Haku-chan, you have to let Kirei-chan recover before you be so rough with her, Rin laughed. Sorry, Kirei, Haku said. What happened, where am I, Kirei asked. Well, we saved you from dying. If it wasn't for Haku going to your hideout you would have died a lonely death, Conan said. Well, thank you, Kirei said. No thanks needed. But do you want to travel with us, Conan asked. You the ones who saved me. I will be honored to travel with you, Kirei replied. Good, you will join our training when you recover, Rin said. Kurenai walked in with a few bags. I bought dinner, she announced. Did you buy ramen, Naruto asked, hopping from foot to foot in front of Kurenai. Everyone in the room laughed at him. Kirei did it with some pain though. No, Naruto-chan, you have to eat other things besides ramen, Kurenai said. As they was about to start eating there was a knock on the door. Kurenai walked over to it. Yes, she asked, opening it, and was shocked. Sorry for the intrusion, but I sense Bayatoko in here. Can I see him, Tsunade asked a gaping Kurenai. She just nodded and moved to the side for Tsunade and Shizen. Tsunade walked into the room. Naruto-chan, she said slowly. Naruto looked up and saw Tsunade and immediately jumped up and ran to her. Itoko, he yelled, jumping into her arms. Tsunade caught the small boy easily and hugged him tightly while kissing him on the top of his head. I missed you so much, my little Naruto-chan, she said with tears in her eyes. I miss you too, Itoko, he replied with his face in her chest. How long has it been, Tsusama, Shizen asked as Naruto jumped from Tsunade into Shizen's arms. Far too long for my liking. How have you been, Naruto-chan, Tsunade replied. Well, Gigi started to teach me to use a bow staff when I was 4. I'm a level 1 master, can you believe that, he said excitedly. I'm happy for you, Naruto-chan. But what else happened in those 3 years I was gone, Tsunade asked. Well, Naruto stopped and fidgeted, not wanting to tell her. Well, since Naruto-chan don't like talking about it, I'll fill everyone in, except Hinata and Kurenai, Anko said. Once everyone had their attention on Anko, she started. Well, since Tsunade left, the council have tried multiple times to have Naruto-chan executed. Danzo tried to get him into his training or brainwashing program, as I call it, Kakashi team, who, by the way, for those who don't know, he was trained by Naruto-chan's Otosan, have not even made an attempt to keep Naruto-chan safe. The only friends Naruto-chan has are those here now and the third who is like a grandfather to him. Also, he has been beaten by the villagers and a few chunins almost every day for the last 3 years. Also, he was almost killed more times than any of us want to remember, she told everyone. Tsunade, Shizen, Rin, and Conan was pissed, all fighting the urge to march to Konoha and kill a few thousand people for how they treated Naruto. Haku, Hinata, and Kirei looked like they was about to cry. Eventually Tsunade calmed herself enough to talk. Well, Naruto-chan and ladies, I hope you like medics because I'm putting you 4 through the toughest medic and chakra training you will ever go through, she said. What a Toko, why do I have to learn medics, Naruto complained. Because I said so, and Kushina was a pretty damn good medic in her own right, and I'll be damned if her son doesn't learn it, Tsunade said, leaving no room for Naruto to argue with. What she said? Haku, you need to pick out a weapon to train with. Once you master you will go on to the next weapon. Kirei, I'm going to assume that you know how to use your bloodline to make weapons, Conan said. Yes, I can make almost any weapon. Our clan starts early on learning our bloodline since it's the only weapon we use, Kirei replied. Good, since I'm teaching Naruto-chan dragon style and Anko is teaching Hinata snake style, who will teach Haku and Kirei, Conan asked. I'll start Haku on medic style, Shizen said. I'll start Kirei on crane style, Kurenai said. I'll teach them the book crap and other things like that they need to know, but I'm assuming that once they learn the style they will rotate to learn the other style, Tsunade guessed. Correct, they are going to be the most well-rounded team ever, Conan said. Tsunade smiled. Well, kids better be ready for hell because you just entered it, and the only way out is through hard work and outstanding teamwork, she said. The 4 kids just groaned while imagining the pain they would be put through. In Konoha, Hayashi rushed into the Hokage's office. Did you find out anything, he asked. Yes, Hayashi, they are with Tsunade training. She said that if you want you can send scrolls on the Byakugan and Juken for Hinata, but it's completely up to you, the third said. Hayashi let out a breath. Is she hurt, Hayashi asked. From the letter I received she is in perfect health, and is being put through a very demanding physical training session with Naruto and 2 others to prepare them for their real training, the third said. Hayashi nodded. I'll bring a copy of a few scrolls for her to learn. He then walked out. On Nagi Island, the 4 kids was laid out on the ground trying to catch their breath. Naruto had always thought Shizen was the sweetest and nicest person and had no mean bone in her body, but after what she just put them through he was rethinking his opinion of her. Her physical training, the 7 layers of hell the 4 kids called it, consisted running 5 miles with boulders on their back, ungodly amounts of push-ups and sit-ups, 100 punches and kicks to a padded tree, more boulder running except this time with smaller boulders and on water, dodging kunais, shurikens, paper weapons, rocks, and anything else the adults could find and throw at great speeds without moving their feet, and not to mention waking up at the god-forsaken hour of 5 in the morning. I mean, really, who wakes up at that time just to go through this hell? Naruto thought. Okay, enough rest, Shizen piped up. What, but we didn't even have a full 10 minutes, they all complained. Shizen glared at the four. She actually glared. This shocked the four greatly. I set up now, she said in her commander voice. They all jumped up. From what they knew, Shizen was so sweet and nice that she never talked with that kind of tone, so they didn't want to know what would happen if they didn't. Listen. Shizen walked in front of them. Now we need to work more on your chakra reserve and stamina so you all can use Kagebushin to increase the rate at which you train. Get on the water and lay down, face up, Naruto, until I tell you training is over, she told them. The four ran over to the water and laid down, finding it hard to stay atop at first. But slowly they started to figure out how to do it. Tsunade walked up to Shizen. I'll watch them. The other wanted you to join them for personal training, she said. Okay, Tsu-sama, Shizen replied. Stop calling me that, please, Shizen, Tsunade said. Okay, Tsu-chan, Shizen giggled. Tsunade just shook her head at her apprentice. Shizen found the other four in another training area a few miles from the one he had the kids at. Hey, she said. Shizen, how is training going, Karin? I asked. Well, if I keep pushing them this hard, I predict the girls will be able to use at least 3 Kagebushins in a month, Shizen replied. Great, then we can start the real training, Conan said. Yup, now let's start our spars. I haven't had a good fight in so long, Rin said. 4 hours later, Shizen sat up off the ground, panicked. Oh no, I forgot to tell Tsu-chan when to let them off the water, she said, and ran back to the training ground with the other four behind her. They all arrived in the training area to see Tsunade and the 4 kids sleep. I thought they would still be on the water, Shizen said, letting out a breath. Anko looked at her watch. Time for weapon practice, she said. After a few snakes and 4 alert kids and a smirking Anko, she started. How was your sleep, she asked. Not long enough, Naruto said. Too bad, time for weapons training, Anko said. Conan then threw a scroll to the 4 of them. Those are the 5 levels for the weapons you are learning. Hina, Haku, and Kiryu, you each start level 1. Naruto, you start level 2, she said. Don't forget, if you need any help, ask us, Karin, I said. A month later, Hinata was able to make 3 Kagebushins and still have enough chakra left for what she needed to do. Haku was able to make 4. Kiryu was able to make 6, while Naruto couldn't make less than 10, so he was limited to that number, while the others had to keep as many made as they could. Naruto had to use 8 of his Kagebushins to work on chakra control so he wouldn't get too far ahead. Hinata used 1 clone to help her with level 1 of the Chinese sword, while the other 2 started level 2. Haku used 1 clone to help her with level 1, while 2 started level 2, and the last went to work on increasing her reserves. Kiryu did the same, except she sent 3 to work on her reserves. They was traveling towards Cha no Kuni as they all got dizzy from being on an island for so long. Hinata's birthday. As the group arrived in Cha no Kuni, Hinata spoke up. My birthday is next week, she stuttered out. Everyone looked at her. Really, now that's good to know, Tsunade said while thinking what to get the 5-year-old. Anything specific you want, Conan asked. Hinata thought. I used to help my cousin in our garden when she was still alive, Hinata said. The 4 was given the week off from training because of Hinata's birthday. On her birthday, Hinata woke up to find that she was all alone in the hotel room. She slowly washed and got dressed and went to the cafe in the hotel for breakfast. She saw everyone else, but they ran away before she had the chance to approach them. She wanted to run after them, but her growling stomach had other plans. She walked up to the counter and looked over the food. She grabbed a plate and loaded it with eggs, toast, bacon, sausage, jam, and sweet buns and ate it while wondering why everyone avoided her for the past 2 days. Naruto was running around the town looking for the perfect present for Hinata. Coming from 3 pretty rich clans, he had enough money to buy anything but didn't want anything. He wanted the perfect gift. He walked into a rather large clothing/accessories store and looked around. He walked up to the counter. Excuse me, can you help me, he said to the lady. She looked over the counter. Sorry, but kids are not allowed in here without a parent, she told him. What, but this is important, Naruto said. Sorry, get an adult and I'll be happy to help you. But without one you're not allowed in company policy, she said. It's fine, he is with me, Anko said, walking from where she was. Naruto looked at her. Nei-chan, I didn't see you over there, he said. Anko shrugged. Hurry up and get what you need so we can get back to the hotel, she said. Naruto looked at the lady. She looked between Anko and Naruto. The kunoichi tilted her head in a way that dared her to try and kick him out. Right, what can I help you with, she asked. Well, it's my best friend's birthday, and she turns 5, but I don't know what to get her, he said. The lady nodded and led him through the rows of merchandise. Well, what's her favorite color, she asked. Lavender. Is that a color, Naruto answered. So light purple, the lady said. She then went through the clothes. Here, she should like this. It's made light for moving, she said. Okay, I'll get it, Naruto said. They walked to the counter. Where is your Nei-chan so she can pay for it, the lady asked. I'm paying, he then pulled out some money and gave it to the lady. She looked shocked, then scanned the clothes and bagged them, giving Naruto his bags. She watched him grab his stuff and start to leave. Anko walked up. Hold on. I didn't see you give him his change, she said. I put it in the bag, she said nervously. Anko took the bag and checked it. I don't see any money in here, she said, looking at the lady. He must have taken it out then, she said. A snake flew out of Anko's arm and slammed the lady into the wall behind her. Don't fuck with me or Naruto, now where is his change, she hissed. An younger lady who looked Anko's age ran up. What's going on, she almost yelled. She is trying to steal from him. And I want the change she owned, Naruto, now, or I will make sure she dies slowly and painfully, Anko said. The younger lady looked at the older lady. Yuki, get your things, you're fired, she said. What, please, I need this job, I can't support my son without it, she started to cry. I gave you 3 chances already. And if I remember correct, your son is old enough to get a job himself. Now get out of my store before I call the police, the store owner replied. Enko dropped her and she ran out. Sorry, now what was bought so I can give you the correct change, she asked. Later that night, everyone but Hinata was standing outside the door with their gifts in hand. Tsunade also had some cake and ice cream. Shizen walked in the room and busied Hinata with a random quiz on the medic stuff Tsunade had taught her. Shizen made sure that Hinata's back was towards the door, and once everyone was in the room they took a breath. Happy birthday, Hinata, they yelled. Hinata jumped and quickly spent around and saw all the presets and cake. She smiled, while she said, once they ate the cake and ice cream they gave Hinata her presents. From Naruto she got a pair of purple pants, a purple shirt, and purple coat like Enko's. Tsunade got her a mini travel garden and a scroll she could keep it in. Kurenai got her all types of seeds, some lavender-smelling candles. Kirei got her a set of kunais and shurikens. Haku got her some senbons and a book called 1000 Plants, and 10,000 Ways to Use Them. Enko got her a chakra-enhanced necklace that had a picture with all them in it. Conan got her a Chinese sword since she liked the practice ones so much. Rin got her a few jutsu scrolls. Shizen a book called How to Be a Deadly Kunoichi but Still Gentle to Those You Love. Hinata looked at all her presents and hugged everyone. 3 months later, after months of training, it was noticeable how much strides the 4 kids made. Each girl was able to create 10 perfect clones and use them for training. Hinata surprised the most at how fast she learned medics, and increased her reserve to catch up with Kirei and Haku. The adults also noticed a little competition between the 3 girls, seeing who can learn and grow stronger faster. Naruto was making more strides in sealing and learning manners and things like that he missed out on. They all advanced in their family bloodlines. Hinata activated her Byakugan and learned the first 4 levels of Juken. Naruto learned level 2 of Kami Origami. He couldn't start learning Mokuton basics because he didn't have any scrolls to learn from. Haku learned to control her Hayaton more. Kirei learned the 5th level of her Kagaya bloodline. They stopped a few miles outside of Konoha where they was meeting Jiraiya with the scrolls from the Senju compound for Naruto to learn from. They all was now extremely comfortable around each other, and with Rin and Conan being a couple and Kurenai and Enko being a couple. They was also used to seeing the 4 Kisar walk around with nothing but panties and bra on. Kurenai, Enko, and Rin of course teased the kids. Conan teased the girls but not Naruto for obvious reasons. This didn't go without a consequence because the kids started to show signs of perversion, especially Naruto peeping in on everyone except Tsunade and Conan while they showered or bathed, which by the way everyone knew about. But since he didn't do it out in public they didn't say anything, and the adults even went out of their way to keep the door cracked for him. The 3 girls peeped on the adults but not as much as Naruto, just when their curiosity got the best of them, which wasn't more than once or twice a month. Jiraiya arrived at the meeting area and introduced himself. Toad and stupid dance in all its glory. This of course resulted in the kids really doubting that he was a Sannin after noting how serious Tsunade was out in public. But once he got the crap beat out of him by Tsunade, for staring at her breasts, and got up like nothing happened, they put their doubts behind them. Once that was done they started to travel again. This time they added ninjutsu training to their regime. Jiraiya of course being the ninjutsu juggernaut he was immediately gave Hinata, Naruto, and Kirei chakra paper to start them on their element training. Hinata was Suiton and Raiton, Kirei was Katon and Suiton, Naruto was Futon, Doton, and Suiton. Haku told him her elements was Futon and Suiton. Jiraiya nodded. You all are Suiton, not really surprising since 2 of you are from Kirei. Naruto's bloodlines uses Suiton, and Hinata's cousin was a Suiton user, he said. So you can train them in every element, Kurenai asked. No, we have to go to Kumo to find someone to train Hinata and Raiton. But I can train them in everything else, Jiraiya said. Well, let's head there now. Element training will take a few years and I'm tired of constantly moving around, Tsunade said. Fine with me, Conan said. Wait, wasn't there a report that Kumo tried to steal the Byakugan a few months ago, Jiraiya asked. I wrote to Sensei about it. He said that it was a rouge group of Kumo nins who all was banished from the country for their radical acts and experiments, Tsunade said. So with that the group left Hai no Kuni and went to Kaminari no Kuni. After a few weeks of traveling they arrived at the gate. Hello, what can I help you with, the guard asked. Can we see the Reikage, Jiraiya answered. Sure, follow me. He took them to the tower. Once inside the Reikage greeted them. How can I help you, she asked. Well, we have a student whose element is Raiton and no one to train her. I was wondering if there was a way she could get trained here, Jiraiya said. The Reikage thought for a minute. Well, I am working with the Hokage to get an agreement between our villages. How about I let a Jounin travel with you and train her, she asked. That will work, Jiraiya said. One moment please, the Reikage pushed a button. Yujito, can you please come to the office, she asked. I'll be there in a minute, they heard. A few minutes later an Anbu appeared in the room via Shunshin no Jutsu. You wanted me, Reikage, she asked. Yes, Yujito, I have a mission for you, she said. She pointed behind Yujito. These group of shinobi are travelers from Konoha. I'm assuming they are on a training trip. But one of them can use Raiton element but have no one to train them. I want you to travel with them and train this person. You will stay with them until they return to their village. This mission will be part of the working agreement we are setting up with Konoha, she said. Yujito turned and eyed each of them. Okay, I'll take the mission, she said. Good, you leave whenever they are ready, the Reikage said. Itoko, I'm hungry, can we eat before we leave? Naruto said. Yes, Naruto-chan, we will eat before we leave, Tsunade said, rolling her eyes. I'll show you around the village, Yujito offered, trying to be nice. Okay, but you can just be yourself, you don't have to be someone you're not, Conan said. Good, I hate acting likable for other people, Yujito said, walking out the door. Well, she is cute, Anko said when Yujito was out the room. I heard that, Yujito yelled back. At a fancy restaurant a few hours later after sightseeing, everyone was sitting down and looking at the menu. What, no ramen? Naruto complained loudly. No, this restaurant doesn't serve ramen, it's a foreign place, the owner is from over the mountains. But he serves this food called spaghetti. It has the same noodles as ramen but made in a different way and has this red sauce on it made out of different vegetables. It's pretty good, you should try it, Yujito said. What's a taco? Hinata asked. It's a flat bread made out of corn then hardened, then they put meat, lettuce, cheese, and this sauce called ranch on them. They are good and healthy, Yujito said. What's beef stew? Kirei asked. It's a mixture of different meats and vegetables and brought to a boil in a broth. It's very good, Yujito said. Do this place sell sake? Tsunade asked. Not exactly, they have something called wine. It comes in different flavors and colors. It is basically the same thing except made in the West. I haven't tried it because I don't drink sake, Yujito said. What burger? Anko asked, sounding it out in a funny way. It's Yujito thought about it. It's a piece of meat between two pieces of bread. It can come with vegetables on it, she finally said. And swimming chips? Karina asked. That is fish cooked in this oil and cut potatoes also cooked in oil. It's personally my favorite, Yujito said. I'll take a salad and taco, Haku said. I want to know what exactly a pizza, Jiraiya said. Well, that's just the dough before it becomes bread and it's spread out like you would a pie. Then you put sauce on it with cheese and anything else you want, then cook it, Yujito said. The next morning, Naruto woke up and noticed everyone was asleep except Yujito. He walked over and sat by her on the couch. Can you take me to that restaurant? I want to see if I can buy a recipe book from them for the food they serve. It was good, he asked. Sure, come on, Yujito said. They arrived at the restaurant and asked for the cook. How can I help you too? He asked. Sir, I ate here last night, and it was the first time I ever ate food from another place, and it was really good. Naruto was interrupted. You really liked it? I'm glad, it makes me feel good that my hard work is like the cook said. Yes, it was good. I was wondering if I can buy a recipe book with the foods you serve in it. I will pay you. I'm the heirs to both the Uzumaki and Senju clan, Naruto said. The man nodded, thinking it over. Okay, you can buy a recipe book, he finally said, going to get a rather big book and putting it on the table. It made a slam noise from how big it is. Naruto looked at the book wide-eyed. That's huge, he said. It has every recipe I ever collected in it. I had to pay Jounins to use a copy jutsu so I can have extra, the cook said. After paying the man, Naruto tried to pick the book up, but it was heavier than he thought. Eventually Yujito picked up the book, and they walked to the hotel. They walked in and everyone turned and looked at them. Naruto, Namike, Senju, Uzumaki, where did you go? Who gave you permission to leave, and why the hell did you not leave a note? Do you know how worried I was? Conan demanded as soon as he walked in the room. Sorry, cousin, he said. That's not answering my question, Conan said. He asked me to take him back to the restaurant so he can buy a recipe book from him, Yujito said, showing them the book. Conan eyed the book, then Naruto. You're lucky, don't leave like that again. I was ready to destroy this village to find you, she said. And I would have been right there with her, Tsunade said. Naruto scratched the back of his head and smiled. Sorry, cousin Itoko, he said. That's a mighty big book, Jiraiya said. I couldn't even pick it up, Naruto said. Jiraiya pulled out a medium-sized scroll. I foresee Naruto collecting recipe books from a lot of restaurants, so I will store them all in this scroll, he said as he finished creating the seal for the book. In Konoha, Funa's Uchiha was walking around the Uchiha district by herself. Being a direct descendant of Madara, she was treated like royalty by everyone in the clan, and it annoyed her. Instead of praising her for how hard she trained, they praised her for things that happened decades before she was born, and having the long hair and some facial appearance of Madara didn't help. She was the youngest living Uchiha, only 5 years old, but she was already predicted by the clan elders to be a prodigy. As she thought about that, it pissed her off even more. They never even saw my fight, or train for that matter. How do they know I'm going to be a prodigy, she thought. In short, everyone in the clan was starting to annoy her. Her parents died on a mission, and instead of treating her like they would any other Uchiha orphan, they treated her like she was queen of the world. She quickly developed an attitude that said, fuck with me and I'll hurt you even if I am only 5, and a few times she went through on that to one Sasuke Uchiha, the boy closest to her age, only a year older, after he kept asking for her hand in marriage. Honestly, I'm 5 fucking years old, why the hell would I think about marrying anyone, let alone someone who can't beat me, she thought angrily. Her mental rant on how pissed off she was at the Uchiha clan was interrupted. Funu, dinner's ready, her guardian said. Yes, Miss Mikoto, Funu replied kindly to the older woman. Funu, why am I the only one who you don't talk to as if you hate them, Mikoto asked. You're the only one who don't treat me as if I'm some kind of princess. You treat me the same as you do every other Uchiha kid. Like a kid, Funu said. Mikoto smiled. Because you are a kid in my eyes, but to everyone else you are the princess of the Uchiha clan, she said. Why, I don't want to be a princess, I want to be just Funu and create my own path. I hate how everyone thinks they have to give me everything, Funu said. I know you do, sweetie. But you only have to put up with it for a few more years until you get on a genin team, Mikoto said. A year later, Hinata, Naruto, Haku, and Kirei grew stronger during the past year to the point that they all was able to do basic jutsus in their element. Yujito grew to actually like the group and even joined in and teasing the kids by walking around in only her panties and bra. Of course she was introduced to Naruto's peeping. She of course locked the door at first, but eventually started to enjoy teasing him while she showered or bathed. Jiraiya started to write books based on the group and used the money for the group since the book was about them after all. Yujito and Shizen even changed their clothes so that all the ladies except Tsunade and the kids was wearing some type of kunoichi-made dress. The kids all became 5-level masters and 3 weapons each and was currently working on their 4th. They all also was working on mastering their 3rd taijutsu style. Hinata was working on higher level juken and main family techniques. Haku was constantly creating new jutsus and uses for her bloodline. Kiryu used her bloodline for everything possible. She even created a jutsu that allowed her to make her bones in the shape of kunais and shurikens. Naruto mastered a few levels of both his bloodlines. They all became good medics. Hinata and Haku clearly outshined Naruto and Kiryu, but they knew enough to make Tsunade happy. In sealing is where Naruto and Kiryu outshined Hinata and Haku, but Naruto clearly showed that he was well above the skill of someone his age should be in sealing. They each had a seal on their hand that held their favorite weapon in it. For Hinata it was the Chinese sword she got for her 6th birthday. For Haku it was a Zanpakuto she got for her 9th birthday. For Naruto it was a gunblade that Conan got for his 7th birthday. For Kiryu it was a death scythe, the only weapon she couldn't make out of her bones. It was given to her on her 8th birthday. At the moment the Naruto was peeping through a hole he put in a fence that separated the girls' and boys' baths. The girls was used to him doing this, but Hinata, Kiryu, and Haku still was shy about him seeing them uncovered. Enko smirked and went in front of the hole and bent over. Like what you see, she asked, waving her butt in front of the hole. Naruto fell back unexpectedly from blood loose at being so close to Enko's butt. Jiraiya laughed. I think you killed him, Enko, he said. I don't see why he faints, he see it every day, Enko said. Maybe it's the context you show I'm it, and the fact that he was caught, Tsunade said. Naruto came to in the hotel room. You finally woke up, Enko said, standing over him in only her panties and bra. Naruto just started at her with a blush. You know if you move any closer you will kiss it, she teased. Enko, Naruto complained, blushing harder. Enko just laughed and walked away. Enko, will you get dressed? We have to leave soon, Conan said. Enko looked at her. You're not even dressed, she pointed out. Yes, I'm getting my clothes. And I'm also not teasing Naruto, Conan said. That's because he is your nephew. That would be gross if you teased him like I do, Enko pointed out. The group arrived in Suna a few days after arriving in the country. Tsunade and Jiraiya went to get a hotel while everyone else went to the park. Hinata, Naruto, Kiryu, and Haku immediately ran to play like the kids they was. As they was pushing each other on the swing when they noticed a commotion by a nearby school. They walked over to see what was happening and saw a boy grab a ball without any hand signs from a building, and of course Naruto wanted to know who the boy was. Hey, that was so cool. How did you do that? What's your name? I'm Naruto. Are you a shinobi? Because I'm training to be one. Before he could continue, Haku formed an ice block over his mouth. You will have to excuse Naruto, he gets excited when he sees someone do a jutsu. By the way, I'm Haku, she said. I'm Hinata, Hinata said. Kiryu said. Everyone blinked at them. Do you know who you're talking to? He is a monster. He is dangerous. He will kill you if you talk to him, some students yelled. Before they could move, Kiryu, Hinata, Haku, and Naruto looked at the students with a motionless face and deadly eyes from all the stories from how Naruto was treated in Konoha, and how Yujito was treated as a kid in Kumo because of the demons they have sealed in them. Hinata was the first to speak and did so with absolutely no emotion in her voice. You condemn this boy who is our age for something you know nothing about, she started. How would you feel if everyone treated you differently just because of something you have no control over, Haku said. He should kill you for how you treat him, like he is worthless, Kiryu said as her family killing trait kicked in. You don't know how it feels to be treated as an outsider in your own village, to be forced to carry a burden without even giving your okay to it happening, Naruto said. The kids gulped and back up from the 4 scary-looking kids. Yujito walked up to them. Naruto, Haku, Hinata, and Kiryu. What the hell are you doing, she asked. They treat this boy like he is a monster, Naruto said. Because he is a Jinchuriki, it's a way of life. There is nothing you can do to change how people treat him. All he can do is learn to ignore them and only focus on those who he consider his loved ones, Yujito said. But Naruto was cut off. No, but now go play before I punish you, she said. The 4 ran off and Yujito turned to the students. You should be lucky I decided to stop them. And just because we have demons sealed in us don't make us a demon, just a jailer. She then walked away. A blonde girl came running up. Gaara, you okay? I heard screaming and ran as fast as I could, she asked. Yes, Temari, I'm fine. He thought about what the older blonde said. Temari, how do you treat a loved one? He asked. Temari blinked. Well, you care for them when they are sick, make sure they are not hurt, protect them, and help them get stronger. Why, Gaara? She asked. Are you my loved one? He asked. Of course I am. You're my Ototo and best friend. I will always love you, Temari said. Will we grow strong together and protect each other? Gaara asked. Temari put her arm around her Ototo's shoulder. Come on, Gaara, let's go eat. The school food winked at me, she said, leading him away from the students. She looked back over her shoulder at the 4 kids who stepped up and protected Gaara. I have to thank them, she thought. Later that night, Temari found out what hotel they was staying at and ran there. After knocking on the room door, Yujito opened it. Hello, I'm Temari. I wanted to thank those 4 kids who stood up for my Ototo this morning, she said. Yujito nodded. They was just about to go to sleep, but I think we can squeeze you a few minutes, she said, letting her in. She went into a room. Naru, Hina, Kirei. Haka, someone wants to talk to you real quick, she said. They walked out the room and saw Temari. Sorry for waking you, but I want to thank you for helping my Ototo Gaara this morning. Everyone treats him bad because he has Shikaka sealed in him. Don't worry, I have Kyubi sealed in me and I was treated just like he is, Naruto said. Well, anyway, thank you. I'm Temari, by the way, she replied. Well, I'm Naruto, this is Hinata, then Kirei, and finally Haku. We are all best friends, Naruto said. Nice to meet you all, and I hope one day we can become friends, Temari said. I think we will, Hinata said. Well, bye, Temari said. Wait, Temari, Naruto called out before she left. He went through some hand signs and out of the ground grew a G and a T with a tiny hole on the top. He gave it to Haku, who turned it into ice with her Hayatan Jutsu, then gave it to Kirei, who used a small Katan Jutsu to melt the ice around it, then gave it to Hinata, who used a Suitan Jutsu to cool it. After it was cooled, she gave it to Temari. It's a sign of our friendship. As long as you have it, we will always be friends, Hinata said. Temari looked amazed at it then. They was crystallized with letters that burned with fire, and sparkled with ice. They was the most beautiful things she ever saw. She looked at the four and smiled. We will always keep them. She then ran out the room. Well, off to bed, you four, Yujito said, pushing them into the other room. Hinata, Haku, and Kirei climbed in the bed while Naruto laid on the floor. Yujito shut the door and joined the other ladies in the second room. You all saw what they did, she asked. Yes, I don't think they realize it. But that gift they gave them has the power to tame the Bijou. If Gaara wears it, there is a chance he might have enough control to sleep and live a more normal life, Tsunade said. I hope so. Life is hard enough being a Jinchuriki, Yujito said, sitting on the couch. In the middle of nowhere. 4 months after leaving Tsunade, Jiraiya was in the middle of training the four in ninjutsu with their ever-present 10 clones. He had them master all the jutsus they learned, to the point that it used less chakra than normal, before he would teach them another one. Of course, he taught Naruto the Rasengan as soon as he had the right control to do it. He in turn tried to teach it to the other 3 but failed so bad that Jiraiya stepped in and taught it to them. Tsunade made them write down every jutsu they learned down on a scroll in full detail. During their studies, Hinata became the political one of the group. She was slowly learning anything that had to do with politics, taking after Kurenai. Haku became the medic of the group. With Hinata focusing more on the political things, she stepped up and became the leading medic, taking after Tsunade and Shizen. Kirei was the smart-mouthed, short-tempered, kick-ass weapons and poison expert of the group, taking after Anko in almost every way possible. Naruto was the carefree, sarcastic sealer of the group and never took anything serious. He also had a smart reply for everything, just like Conan. He took after both Conan and Jiraiya. All the kids changed their outfits to match the adults. Naruto like Jiraiya, Hinata like Kurenai, Kirei like Anko, Haku like Tsunade. They was walking towards Kusa no Kuni after rumors of a giant reptile hunting people's homes. They traveled fast, mainly because Naruto and strangely enough Anko was excited to see a giant reptile, one that hopefully wasn't a snake, as Anko put it. So they crossed Hai no Kuni in a few hours and was on the outside of Kusa no Kuni. They saw that Kusa no Kuni was all but destroyed and there was 2 dragons walking around and another flying. What surprised them most though was the black and white blur that seemed to be fighting the 3 dragons, and losing. Naruto immediately ran to help this person. He quickly crossed the area and was able to run up the back of the biggest dragon, and jump on the flying dragon before it flew up to high. Naruto, Namikaze, Senju, Uzumaki, get back here now! Conan, Tsunade, Kurenai, Rin, Anko, and Shizen all yelled, running after him. Whoa, Naruto yelled, hanging on for his life. Get down here this minute, they yelled at him. The dragon did a few quick flips, making Naruto fall from the dragon and hitting the ground hard. He tied, that hurts, he complained. He looked at the thing in his hand. What's this, he asked himself. He opened it and read, this is the scroll for the dragon summoned. To sign it, prick your thumb and write your full name on the scroll in the next available spot, it said. He looked and saw 6 pissed off adults marching over to him, so he quickly pricked his thumb and signed, Naruto, Namikaze, Senju, Uzumaki, on the scroll. After he finished, the 3 dragons puffed back to the summoning world. The 6 reached Naruto and by this time they was fuming. For that little stunt you just pulled 1,000 push-up and sit-ups, Shizen said. 50-mile run with hungry snakes, Anko said. Absolutely no jutsu of any kind, including sealing, Rin said. 6 months grounded, Conan said. A 10-page report on why what you did was the single stupidest thing I have ever seen, Tsunade said. And no peeping for a year, Kurenai said. Everyone else walked over to them. Well, Gaki, that was impressive, Jiraiya said. Pervert, do not encourage him, Tsunade said. Excuse me, the person who was fighting the dragon said. They looked at her. She reminded Anko of what Kurenai looked like when she was smaller, except with green hair and eyes. Half of her skin was white and the other half was black. Sorry to interrupt, but I want to say, although that was the stupidest thing I have ever seen, I have to give my thanks, she said. No problem, it was fun, Naruto said. The 6 still pissed off women glared at him. You're welcome, but why was dragons here, Tsunade asked. They was force summoned, the girl said. Really, who would want to force summon a dragon, Conan asked. My Otosan Zetsu, she replied. Then why was you fighting them, Yujito asked. I was trying to send them back to the summoning realm, but 1 dragon is hard enough, 3 and it's almost impossible to hit them, she replied. But why, Anko asked. She shrugged. Let's just say I hate my Otosan for abandoning me, she told them. Well, since there isn't much of a home left, maybe you should travel with us, Naruto suggested. She looked at the group for a long time without saying nothing. Sure, I have nowhere else to go, she finally said. Don't Setsu have large flytraps covering the upper half of his body? Jiraiya asked. Yes, only the men in our clan have those. They help control their cannibalistic tendencies. The women are more calm than the men, so we don't have them, she said. Well, I'm Hinata, the blonde idiot is Naruto, these two are Haku and Kirei, Hinata said. I'm Riri, she told them. 5 years later, after meeting Riri and her joining them on their travels and training, it was quickly realized that she was at least a few years ahead of the other four as far as training goes. But her personality was very reserved and she didn't like to talk to people she didn't consider her friends. She was 10, the same age as Kirei, and was able to use her bloodline with ease. Her element was Suiton and Doton due to her bloodline closely related to plants, which got her to notice Naruto because of his Mokuton ability being so similar to hers. She also showed them her lizard summon, making her the second of the kids who had a summon along with Naruto. During those 5 years, Hinata found a phoenix summon contract, Kirei found a hawk contract, and Haku found a panther contract. After Riri became close to the group, she started to notice Naruto's peeping habit that he had. She went to Kurenai about it, and was told that he never goes further than peeping, and if she didn't like it then tell him not to peep on her, and he won't. She quickly told Naruto not to peep on her, or he will be in more pain than he could imagine. They were sitting around a fire when Conan surprised them all. So how long until we go back to Konoha, she asked. They looked at her. Did you really ask that? You was ready to blow that village to smoke just a few years ago, Rin said. I know, but Kushi-chan wanted Naruto to become a shinobi there, and if I have any say in it, he will, Conan said. Well, we can go back now and enter them into the academy, Tsunade said. What more years of pointless studying, the blonde 11-year-old complained. It's only for a month, Naruto. Conan then turned to Tsunade. Well, they already finished everything we can give them right now. All they need to do is become a ninjas and we can train them in more things. Especially Naruto, because he can't learn the more complicated stuff in our bloodline until he become a genin, Conan said. The same with his Mokuton bloodline and Hinata Byakugan, so we will have to go back eventually, Tsunade said. Well, we are near Konoha, we could arrive there tomorrow, Jiraiya said. Riri, are you going to join the academy, Tsunade asked. I'm already a chunin, and I'm 15, Riri replied. Oh right, I forgot. Let's get some sleep and we can go to the village tomorrow, Tsunade said. The next day at Konoha Gate, the group walked towards the gate. As they walked, Naruto got nervous from the last time he was in the village. You think they will try? And he left his question off. I want them to try. It will give me a reason to kill them, Conan said. Don't worry, Naruto, no one will even think about harming you in the village, Tsunade said. Especially when you consider you're the heir to 3 of the biggest clans in the elemental nations, best friends with the heir to the biggest clan in Konoha, and have a kill happy Obasan and Itoko, Anko said. This coming from the same person who enjoys torturing people with snakes, Conan said. Naruto, you have nothing to worry about. We won't let nothing bad happen to you, Rin said. Hey, let's race the last one to the gate buys lunch, Kirei said. What, that's so childish, Riri said. Then she took off towards Konoha's gate. Cheater, Naruto yelled at the rest, vanished towards the gate. The adults just shook their heads. The 5 kids arrived at the gate at great speed, surprising the 3rd Hokage, Hayashi, Hanabi, Yudogo, the council, and everyone else who stopped by the gate to see why the Hokage was there. I win, Haku cheered. No you didn't, I got here first, Naruto yelled. You both lost to me, Kirei said. All I know is no one was here when I arrived at the gate, Hinata said. You all lost. What took you so long to get here, Conan asked from the top of the wall with Rin, Tsunade, Shizen, Anko, Kurenai, Jiraiya, and Yujito, all who looked down at the kids and laughed. How did you get up there? I didn't even sense you passed me, Riri asked. That is a secret, Yujito said. Everyone who was there looked up at them. When did they get up there? Most of the shinobi thought. After everything settled down, Naruto looked at the 3rd. Hey Gigi, did you miss me? He asked loudly. The 3rd chuckled. Yes, I did, Naruto. How have you been? He asked. I've been great. Made some awesome friends, Naruto said. He then looked at the sky. So Gigi, how much trouble am I in? He asked. The Hokage was surprised by the question, as was everyone else, but he didn't show it. I have no clue what you're talking about, he said. For leaving like that 7 years ago. I'm sure the council flipped Kanai's losing their scapegoat for when things go wrong, Naruto said. I assure you, Naruto, you are in no trouble. Actually, I'm happy you was able to leave when you did. It gave you the family you always wanted, and I was unable to give you, the 3rd said. Naruto smiled at the 3rd. You was family enough, Gigi, he said. It got quiet for a minute until Hinata stepped up. Otosan, she said. Hi, she looked at her. From the look in his eyes she could tell he was happy to see her. Hinata, he simple said with a small smile. What the hell, all these people for a bunch of worthless kids? I thought it was something important they heard. Sasuke, shut up or I'll kick your ass again, they heard a female's voice say. Whatever, Funa, just because you're the princess of the Uchiha don't mean you can beat me, Sasuke said. Funa already walked away from Sasuke and was ignoring him, looking at the new people. Sasuke was fuming at being ignored like that. Funa looked at each one, sizing them up and determining their level. As she looked at them she nodded, knowing that they all would make great sparring partners, unlike a certain Uchiha who always followed her like a lost retarded puppy. Her eyes stopped on Naruto for longer than Kirei and Haku. She looked him up and down a few times before meeting his eyes. Bright blue met dark black. Naruto blushed and Funa smirked before turning her gaze to Hinata. As soon as their eyes met, sparks was flying at the tension between the two, as if they knew that the other was a rival, or something. Everything around the two was blocked out and they started each other down. A leaf blew between them and they both vanished, surprising everyone. Hinata and Funa attacked each other at least Chunin speed. Neither had their jujutsu active, and it was as if they was just testing each other out. They separated for only a second and attacked again, this time with their Dijutsu active. Before they met each other, Naruto was in the middle of them. Each one of his hands held the wrist of Hinata and the fist of Funu. "What the hell are you two fighting for? You just met?" he asked in his seldom used serious voice. Neither answered as they just glared at each other. Then the temperature around them dropped, and both was frozen in a block of ice by Haku. "Well, that was a good show, but let's get on with our business," the third said. In the Hokage's office. Everyone was standing in the Hokage's office, and it was crowded. The Hokage looked around. "Okay, first let's introduce the new people," he said. "Haku, I'm from Kiri and have a bloodline that allows me to use Hayatan Jutsus at will," she said. "Kiri Kagaya, I can use my bloodline." She left it at that. "Riri," was all she said. The third raised an eyebrow at her. "She don't talk to people she don't know or consider her friends," Tsunade said. The third nodded and turned to Conan. "Conan Uzumaki, a Muto of Kushina and Obasan of Naruto," she said. He looked Rin for a minute before speaking. "Nice to see you again, Rin. Now, since everyone already figured who I am, I would like to ask the kids to leave so that I can talk with the adults. You're free to do whatever as long as you don't cause any trouble," he said. "Hinata, you should go see Hanabi Hayashi," said before Hinata walked out the room. "Well, I'll see you all later. I'm going to the Hyuga compound," Hinata said. "Bye, Hina. I'm going to get some ramen," Naruto said. "I guess I'll hang with Naruto since I don't know this village," Kirei said. At the ramen restaurant, Naruto, Kirei, Haku, and Riri walked into the ramen restaurant. "Gigi, I hope you have a lot of ramen because I haven't had some good ramen in 7 years," Naruto said as soon as he walked into the building. Ayam looked at Naruto and tackled him into a hug. "You have to tell me everything that happened. Who are your friends? Is it true you have an Obasan and an Itoko now? How strong did you become? Am I asking too many questions?" she ripped off rapidly. Tucci laughed. "Ayam, why not get off him before you ask questions?" he said. By this time the 15-year-old was straddling Naruto. He was bright red from the position they was in. Kirei, Haku, and Riri giggled at him. "Sorry, Naruto," she said, getting up. "I'll give 20 bowls of your best ramen," Naruto stated. The three girls looked at him. "Are you serious?" Haku asked. "Oh, Naruto can eat some ramen," Tucci said, walking into the kitchen. "Okay, now Naruto, tell me everything," Ayam said, sitting on the stool next to him. "Well, first, my Obasan is named Conan. She is so awesome. I can't wait till you meet her. You are going to like her so much. Also, Tsunade of the Senins is my Itoko," also Naruto said. "What, Tsunade?" Ayam yelled. "Yup. Also, my Otosan is Minato Namikaze, who is the cousin of Tsunade, and my cousin was Kushina Uzumaki. She was really beautiful. I have a picture of them." He then went on to tell her a very detailed description of everything that happened on his trip with Kirei and Haku, adding things. They was interrupted. "Excuse me, can I order some food?" they heard. "Can't you see I'm busy learning everything my best friend went through the last 7 years?" Ayam said, annoyed without looking at the person. Ayam, I think you should serve your customers," Naruto said. "Okay, fine." Ayam got off the stool and looked at the customer. "Oh, sorry, Sudara, I just haven't seen Naruto in 7 years. I missed him so much," she said. Sudara looked at Naruto and blushed slightly. He is cute, she thought. "It's okay, Ayam. Can I have the normal?" she asked. "Okay, Dad, we need the regular for Sudara," Ayam yelled. "What, Sudara is here now? With her and Naruto I'm going to be cooking all day," Tucci complained. "Hey, they are our 2 biggest customers and I know you don't want to lose their business," Ayam yelled back. She then sat back in front of Naruto so he could finish his story. By the time he was finished, the ramen was done and Ayam was squealing with delight from his story. "That's so cool, Naruto. You're so lucky," she said, hugging him tightly. Once she let him go, Naruto dug into his ramen. He got down to his last bowl and heard another. He looked over at Sudara and saw her with 20 empty bowls of ramen. He finished his bowl. "Another?" he asked. Sudara looked and took this as a challenge. No one openly challenges a kimchi like that, she thought, and ordered another. Naruto looked over. "You're so on," he thought. He finished his bowl. "Another?" he ordered. Ayam, Kirei, Haku, and Riri just watched amazed and disgusted at the 2 scarfing down their 30th bowl of ramen. Hinata and Hanabi walked into the restaurant. Hinata introduced Hanabi to her friends, but Hanabi was more interested in the 2 scarfing down ramen. She just stared at them in awe as they had their eating competition. On the 35th bowl, Naruto couldn't eat anymore, and raised his hand in defeat. Sudara smiled. "No one can beat an Akimichi in an eating competition. My Nizan is going to be so jealous when I tell him I won another competition," she said, boasting her latest victory. Once she was finished gloating, she turned to Naruto. "Sudara Akimichi," she held her arm out. Naruto watched her gloat her victory in surprise. She wasn't big like the Akimichis he had seen. In fact, she had the body type that he guessed Tsunade had had when she was younger, curves in the right places, and she was thick but not fat. Naruto guessed if he was to hug her, his hands would touch behind her back. If barely, she had the cutest red circles on her cheeks that he had ever seen. With long red hair, and she seemed to be a sweet and nurturing person. How can someone eat so much, and still have a great figure like that, he thought when she spoke to him. He blinked. "Naruto Uzumaki," he shook her hand lazily. Everyone but Naruto noticed how Sudara blushed when talking to Naruto. Sudara held his hand as long as possible, until Hinata cleared her throat, and pointed to her hand. Sudara let go of Naruto's hand with a blush and ran out the restaurant. First day of the academy. Hinata, Naruto, Haku, and Kirei walked into the assigned classroom and looked around. Immediately they recognized Funu, Sasuke, and Sudara. Looking around, they saw a pink-haired girl fawning over Sasuke, who was brooding. But about what they didn't know or care, they saw someone who looked even lazier than Naruto. A chubby boy who looked like Satoru, a boy with an puppy on his head, a boy with glasses on and a coat, and finally a blonde girl who was taking notes. The instructor got their attention. Can you all introduce yourselves, he asked. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, he said, leaving out his full name. Hinata Hyuga, she said. Haku, just Haku, she said. Kirei Kagaya, she said. Well, can you all take a seat now so we can continue the lesson, Irika asked. As they was walking, Satoru called out, Hey Naruto, come sit with us. I want you to meet my niece, and she called out, waving her hand. Naruto walked over to her, the other followed. Hey, you're Naruto, Miyamoto told me about you. I'm Choji, the boy said. Hey, you two look alike, Naruto said. We are twins. Choji is a few minutes older, Satoru said. Awesome, Naruto said. He then sat by Choji to get to know him so he would at least have one guy friend in the mix of all his female friends. The girls sat by Satoru. As soon as the lesson started, Naruto and Shikamaru fell asleep. Irika threw 2 erasers up and hit the 2 boys in the head, waking them up. Don't sleep in my class, he yelled. Why not? I already know this stuff. Kazan and Itoko made us learn this stuff years ago, Naruto complained. This is troublesome, I already know this, Shikamaru said at the exact same time. Kazan, Itoko, you're just a homeless orphan whose cousin abandoned, Sakura yelled. Everyone looked at her. How would you know that, Sakura, Ino asked. Sakura scoffed. My Otosan tells me everything that happens in those boring council meetings, like how Naruto is the human form if she was cut off. Naruto made some hand signs and an earth pillar came out the ground and knocked and held Sakura up against the wall. He had a look in his eyes that his best friends never saw before. He slowly stood up, looking at the desk. I knew this would happen. It's damn idiots like you who make life hard for people like me. What did your Otosan tell you, Sakura, that I'm the Kyuubi reborn? Or I'm the Kyuubi in his human form? Which was it, he asked with no emotion but hate in his voice. He waited a few seconds. What, no answer? Well, I'll tell you why you can't answer. Because I'm Naruto, heir to the Uzumaki clan and Jinchuriki for Kyuubi no Kitsune, who was sealed in my by the Yondaime. To save your Otosan, sorry ass. And what do I get for keeping bastards like you safe? Absolutely nothing but beating from the time I was 3. I have even had shinobis try and kill me because of something I had no say in, he said. Naruto wasn't the only one pissed though, as the temperature in the room dropped dramatically. Haku, Hinata, and Kirei all walked up to Sakura. We will only tell you this once, call our friend anything but his name, and we will kill you, they said. Everyone else in the room was shocked at what they just learned. Funa had a small smile. Naruto, you and your friend are interesting. Maybe you all can give me the sparring partners I need, she thought. An ANBU team appeared in the room. They looked at the Doton Jutsu and followed it up to Naruto. Not long, Yujito and Conan appeared in the room. Naruto Uzumaki, what the hell did I tell you when you left this morning? Conan scolded as she marched up to the boy, completely ignoring everyone else. But Kazan, he was cut off. Don't but Kazan me, because I don't want to hear it. I gave you specific instructions and you blatantly disregarded them, she said. But Conan, it Hinata was cut off. Hinata, don't try and cover for him, Yujito said. Excuse me if I can, but what happened wasn't his fault. Team's pink-haired Fandro was the one who spoke out of turn. She was the one who said he was a homeless orphan whose cousin abandoned him. She was the one who called him the Kyuubi in human form instead of what he is, a kid just like the rest of us, Funa said. Conan did a U-turn and headed straight for the pink-haired girl. Yujito foresaw what was to happen, spoke. Nara, don't let what people say get to you. Just ignore them. Sakura, you're quickly digging your own grave. She then touched Conan's shoulder and vanished with the pissed Uzumaki before she could reach the academy student. Sasuke got over his shock and walked up to Naruto. Fight me, he said. Everyone turned and looked at him. Piss off, Uchiha, Naruto said. What's wrong? Scared? I'll hit you back, Sasuke taunted. Naruto yawned loudly and laid his head back on his desk, imitating Shikamaru, and fell back asleep. Sasuke scoffed and went to his seat. A month later, Kakashi, Asuma, and Yugogo was in the Hokage's office. Now I know you was told your teams already, but there's going to be a small change to them. I'm adding a member to each team. Yugogo, your team will get Hinata. Kakashi, your team will get Naruto. Asuma, your team will get Haku. Guy's team already got Kirei, he said. Why not just put them on a new team? Kakashi asked. If it was just 3 I would, but since it's 4 I can't. This is the best solution, the third said. I have no problems with it. Hinata will fit in with my team perfectly, Yugogo said. I agree, Asuma said. In the academy, Irika was looking over the students. Well, congratulations on passing. Now listen for what team you will be on. He went through the teams. Once he got to Team 7, everyone started to pay attention. Team 7 will be Sasuke and Funu Uchiha, Sakura Harino, and Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto sighed and laid his head back on the desk. Team 8 will be Satoru Akimichi, Shino Aburame, Hinata Hyuga, and Kiba Inuzuka. Satoru cheered for being on a team with someone she liked while hugging the smaller Hyuga girl. Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akimichi, Shikamaru Nara, and Haku. Shikamaru mumbled troublesome. Choji ate some chips and Ino looked at Haku and smiled. Kirei will be placed on Team 9, which is taught by Guy. He finished and left. Everyone watched him leave and started to leave for lunch. Funa saw Naruto sleeping and walked over to him and nudged him. Hey, wake up, she said. Naruto slowly woke up. What? He asked. Time for lunch, and if you're going to be on my team we need to know a little about each other, she said. Naruto noticed the other teams doing the same. Okay, what do you want to know? He asked. I just need to know one thing. that you want bail when things get too hard on a mission or in a fight. I know for a fact I can't rely on Team or his fangirl, and I'm willing to bet our sensei will treat Team as if he is the best on the team. So I need to know I can rely on at least one person, she said. Naruto blinked at the straightforward question. No, I trained for the last 7 years to get to where I am. I'm not going to go running tail between my legs at the first sign of danger, he said. Good, I'm going to buy me something to eat. Our sensei is Kakashi, he will be late as hell, so come back at least 2 hours after lunch ends. She then shined away. Naruto got up and was called by Hinata. Come sit with us, she said. Naruto slowly walked over to them. Hey, he said, sitting down. Here, I made food for my team. There is extra. I have to start remembering everyone don't eat like Choji, who I usually cook lunch for, Sudara said. Thanks, I'm starving. Naruto grabbed the food and dug in. Hinata smacked him in the head. What, he asked with food in his mouth. You're being rude, she said. Oh, sorry. Sudara, this is really good. I have to start coming to you to cook my food. He then went back to his food. Sudara blushed at the compliment. 45 later, when the Kurenai and Asuma had left with their team, leaving only Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto. Naruto got up and walked to the window and jumped out before the two was able to say or do anything that got on his nerves. He stuck his hands in his pockets and walked around the village. 2 hours later, Naruto was jumping through the window and saw Funa walk to her seat. As soon as he sat down, the door opened. A silver-haired jounin with his Hittite over his eye and was reading a perverted book that was probably written by Jiraiya. Naruto guessed walked into the room. He looked at them. My first impression, you all are worthless. Before he could say anything else, Naruto cut in. This coming from a Cyclops who is reading porn and 2 hours late to get his genins, he said. Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura looked at him. Funa was thinking the same thing about Kakashi. Naruto Uzumaki, you are even more worthless than you look. Get to the roof, Kakashi said, then puffed away. Naruto smirked and shined away in a swirl of wind and water. Funa shined in a burst of fire. Kakashi looked surprised when Naruto appeared in a swirl of wind and water, then Funa came in a burst of fire. Naruto sat on the step and started to daydream about eating ramen cooked, surprisingly by Sudara and not Tuchi. Eventually Sasuke and Sakura came to the roof. Good, now let's start with the introductions, Kakashi said. Sensei, why don't you go first to show us what you mean, Sakura asked. Kakashi shrugged. My name is Kakashi Hatake. I like many things, dislike many other things, I have a lot of hobbies, and my dream. He stopped. You next, Sakura, he said. My name is Sakura Harino. I like. She looked at Sasuke. I dislike Naruto no Baka and Funa no Baka. I don't have any hobbies. And my dream is to. She looked at Sasuke and giggled. Funa rolled her eyes and sighed in a dramatic way. You next, Lady Uchiha, Kakashi said. I have a name and it's Funa. My likes is none of your damn business, either is my dislikes. My hobbies are also none of your fucking business. As for my dream, you will know when it fucking happens if I decide to tell it to your perverted ass, Funa said, pissed off at how Kakashi addressed her. Naruto listened to her after ignoring both Kakashi and Sakura and smirked. Okay, Sasuke, you next, Kakashi said. My name is Sasuke Uchiha. I don't have any likes, and a lot more dislikes. My hobbies are getting stronger. My dream, no, my ambition is to kill a certain man, he said. Kakashi nodded his approval. Naruto looked over. Ain't dream and ambition the same damn thing, he asked. Yes, Funa simple said. So that whole thing you said about an ambition was pointless, Naruto said. Just introduce yourself, Uzumaki, Kakashi said. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. He left it at that and looked up at the sky. Your likes, dislikes, hobbies, and dreams, Kakashi asked. Naruto shrugged. Why should I tell you, he asked. That's the point of this exercise, Kakashi said. Yet no one else told any of that stuff except the fangirl and the brooding bastard, Naruto said. Naruto, you will do what the exercise says or I will send you back to the academy, Kakashi said. Bullshit, you have no power over my career whatsoever, Sensei, Naruto said. Your career, no, but I do have the power to send you back to the academy before it gets off the ground, Kakashi said. Try it, I'll even pay you $5 million if you can send me back to the academy, Naruto challenged. Okay, I want my money transferred to my account by the end of the week, Kakashi said. You say something, Naruto asked, turning his head from the sky and looked at Kakashi with a confused look that Funa couldn't help but laugh at. Kakashi glared. Just be prepared to pay me, he said, then was gone. Man, he sure likes to talk for someone who was 2 hours late, don't he, Naruto said. Funa walked over to the edge of the building. Uzumaki, you are a strange person. Funny but strange. She then jumped off the edge. Naruto ran and followed her off the edge of the building, shocking both Sasuke and Sakura. They went to the edge to see if they was hurt, and was surprised to only see Naruto running down the side of the building, then vanish in a trace of paper that started to float over at the village. Hinata was sitting with her team when she looked past Yugogo into the sky. Hinata, what are you looking at? Yugogo asked. Hinata pointed. Naruto, she said. What, I don't see anyone, Kiba said. Soon the paper floated down in front of Team 8, and stacked itself and slowly turned into Naruto. Sorry for the intrusion, but I was bored and I sensed Hina over here, he said. Don't worry, Naruto, we are almost finished here, Yugogo smiled. How did you do that, Kiba yelled. Naruto looked at him. Do what he asked, then laid down, and fell asleep. He sure does sleep a lot, Sudara said. Yes, it was a trait his cousin had, Hinata said. Yes, Kushina was almost as lazy as most Naras, great Kunoichi, but lazy as hell, Yugogo said. 2 months later, in the Hokage's office. Team 7 was standing in the Hokage's office. So Kakashi, are you ready for another mission? The third asked. Yup, what do you have? Kakashi asked. Well, we have painting a fence, picking weeds, Helping an old lady buy groceries, Iruka was cut off. No, absolutely no way. Not anymore. I'm tired of doing chores that the Konohamaru Corps can do. The third raised an eyebrow at him, knowing his grandson. I'm a shinobi. I was trained to be a shinobi and I will die being a shinobi. I'm not a carpenter, a painter, a gardener, or anything else like that. My entire family was and always will be shinobi, so these chores you pass off as missions Iruka-sensei does not help me in my development in any way, and I will not take it any longer. If I have to, I will go to Itoko Tsuchan and complain to her, and we all know what she will do because you are preventing us from doing things that shinobi are supposed to do. I didn't come back here to be locked up in this village doing lazy-ass civilians' yard work. I want a real mission and I want one now, damn it. And I'm sure that Funu agree that we are doing nothing but wasting time. We could be training or hanging with people we actually like, Naruto ranted. I agree with him. This stuff you pass as missions is a disgrace to our ancestors. I'm sure when my great-great-great-grandfather teamed up with the Senju clan to create this village they didn't do it so us, their pride and joy, can sit around doing people's house chores. I mean for team and in his pink shadow they are teaching them hard work. But for people who actually take being a kunoichi or shinobi seriously, this crap you're giving us makes me want to leave and join another village, Funa said. The third nodded his understanding. I would like to thank you both for stating your argument in a professional way instead of the loud and rather confusing way that Kiba did. But I will look through the missions and see if we have anything on your level that involve you leaving the village, he said. Naruto and Funa smiled. Hokage-sama, are you sure they can handle anything outside this village? Iruka asked. Iruka Naruto spent most of his life outside the village, not to mention both Funu and Naruto can take the Chunin exam now and pass. Possibly even the Jounin exams also. And Naruto was trained by 2 Senins plus Konan Uzumaki, Rin, Shizen, Enko, Kurenai, and Yujito, all elite Jounins, and Funu is a direct descendant of Madara and her skills shows at activating and mastering the Sharingan by the age of 7, and she is years ahead of where Itachi was at this point even if her rank doesn't show it, the third said. Iruka nodded and went through the files. Well, there is a guarding mission in Nami no Kuni. A bridge builder requested the mission, he said. The third nodded. You can come in, he announced. An old drunk came into the room. Here is the team you paid for, the third told him. What I paid for shinobis or kunoichis, not barely potty-trained kids, the man said in a drunk slur. Naruto leaned towards Funu, who was the only person on his team he would willingly talk to. What's worse, a one-eyed pervert that's chronically late, or an old drunk trying to build a bridge, he whispered loudly. Funu and the third laughed a little. It depends on which I would have to deal with, because the drunk would be easy to lose and I can go on about my day, she whispered back loudly. I agree. Plus we don't risk the one-eyed pervert trying to peep on us, he replied. Naruto and Funu, you will show respect to your elders, Iruka yelled, bopping both on the head. Itai, what was that for Scarface? Naruto asked. Naruto no baka, shut up, you're annoying, Sasuke-kun, Sakura yelled. Naruto blinked. Who is Sasuke? Oh wait, team's name is Sasuke, he asked. You leave tomorrow at noon from the main gate, the third said, dismissing them. The next day at the gate, Naruto walked to the gate and saw Funu walking there also. Don't you and team live together, he asked her. We share an apartment but I try and stay away from him. I don't want to catch his I'm an asshole disease, Funu replied. Naruto laughed. You're funny when you open up to people, he said. Funu shrugged. I only open up to people who have earned my respect, she said. So you don't respect Hina? Naruto asked. She looked at him. Respect have nothing to do with that. She has amazing skills. She is someone who I can have as a rival to help me grow stronger, she said. Naruto nodded. I wish I had someone like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the girls are plenty strong, but it's hard to have a rivalry with them because we are so close, he said. Don't worry, you will find the perfect one soon enough, Funu said. Kakashi walked up with Tazuna, Sasuke, and Sakura. Naruto looked at Kakashi, then at Funu and back. He then grabbed his heart. Oh no, the world is coming to an end. He is on time, he said in a dramatic way while falling back as if having a heart attack. Tazuna and Funu laughed. The other three scoffed at him. Let's go, we don't want to fall behind, Kakashi said. Too late to try and turn over a new leaf, you're already way behind on the time thing. I'm willing to bet you was late for your own birth, Naruto commented. Uzumaki, shut up, Kakashi said. What crawled in his house and changed his porn out with gay porn? Naruto whispered to Funu, who laughed hard because Naruto told her about the prank him and the Konohamaru Corps pulled last night. They was walking and Naruto finally stopped cracking jokes about his team and was quiet. They passed a puddle that Naruto and Funu immediately knew meant trouble. Naruto slowly bit his finger while Funu readied her bow staff. As soon as the two came out of the puddle they had their weapons in hand. Naruto had his gun blade coming in a downward arch while Funu brought her bow staff in an upward arch at the two. The two brothers jumped to the side and the weapons connected with the chain holding their weapon together, and it broke. Naruto was about to bring his gun blade back on the one closest to him, but Sasuke ran in front of him with a kunai and stabbed the demon brother in the stomach. Naruto looked over at Funu and saw she while watching them with her enemy on the ground disarmed and her staff to his neck, she smiling at him. Kakashi came out from the trees. Good job, Lady Uchiha and Sasuke, I would expect no less from two Uchihas, he said. Yes, just give my hard work to the brooding asshole, why don't you? Naruto mumbled under his breath. Kakashi turned to Tazuna. Is there something you're not telling us, he asked. Not that I know of, Tazuna said. Then why was those two attacking you, Kakashi asked. Tazuna told them about Gato. You lied and could have resulted in Sasuke's, Funu's, or Sakura's death. Kakashi was cut off. What, am I invisible here? Naruto asked. Like I was saying, you holding information from us could have resulted in the deaths of these kids. Would you have wanted that on your soul? Kakashi asked. Apparently his village's and family safety was more important, Naruto said, as if it was obvious. And the fact that he tried to refuse us from coming should have told you something was up, Funu said. Anyway, this mission is AB ranked, and they are only a genin, Kakashi said. Yeah, in rank. But that's not the important, it's level that's important, and Jiraiya himself told me that I'm a level C shinobi, and I am willing to bet that Funu is also at least a level C kunoichi, while the demon brothers are also level C, so by that information we can do this mission, Naruto stated logically. I can't risk those three dying on this mission, Kakashi said. And I don't care what you can risk or can't risk, I'm still going on this mission whether you like it or not, Naruto said. You are not going nowhere but back to the village, Kakashi said. Naruto bit his thumb again. Summoning no jutsu, he summoned a medium-sized messenger dragon. Can you find Jiraiya and bring him here, he asked. The dragon flew off. Everyone looked surprised at him, knowing the summoning jutsu, and summoning a dragon no less. 10 minutes later the dragon returned with Jiraiya on its back. Gaki, this better be important, I was in the middle of research for my next book, he said. Naruto rolled his eyes. Sensei here don't believe that you told me that I'm AC level shinobi and is determined that he can't risk Team Funu and Flat Chest dying, while not even worried about my own safety on a mission that we clearly are capable of doing, he said. Jiraiya looked at Kakashi. Are you saying that I don't know what I'm talking about when I train someone? I the one who trained the Yondaime, who by the way trained you. Are you suggesting that I would lie to a shinobi on what level they are? And more importantly, Kakashi, if I find out you're playing favorites with your genins, you will have more problems than you and your constant copying others' jutsus can handle, he said. No, Jiraiya-sama, I'm not playing favorites. And I just said that the council would be disappointed if something happened to them, Kakashi said quickly. Just know if I get another complaint from Naruto, my godson, you will be in a world full of hurt, Jiraiya said, then tossed Naruto a scroll. You better have that jutsu completed when you return. He then vanished. Naruto smiled brightly at the terrified look in Kakashi's one eye. Funu couldn't help but smile at Kakashi being put in his place and walked over to Naruto. So the Uzumaki can do more than swing his feet and arms, she joked. Do I sense a hint of jealousy from the ever-upbeat Uchiha, he joked back. Then they both started to laugh. Right then, let's get going, Kakashi said. As they walked, Funu started to speak. So what jutsu was in the scroll, she asked. Mokuton, 4 pillars prison, Naruto said. Funu looked at him shocked. You can do Mokuton jutsu, she said. Yes, please don't tell anyone. I don't want to deal with people treating me like they do you and Team, Naruto said. Sure, I'll keep your secret, but it will cost you, Funu said. What if I can get you a summon contract, Naruto said. Funu thought. What can you get, she asked. Naruto thought. There is a lion contract in Nami no Kuni, but you have to find it. The dragon then puffed away. I'll help you find it, Naruto said. Deal, Funu said. Team 7 was walking to Nami no Kuni when Naruto thought of something. Funu, you know about me, why have you never told me about you, he asked. Funu shrugged. You never asked, she said. Well, can you tell me about you, he asked. It's a long story, she warned. I want to know more about you, he told her. Fine, Funu said. Flashback. Funa's Uchiha was walking around the Uchiha district by herself. Being a direct descendant of Madara, she was treated like royalty by everyone in the clan, and it annoyed her. Instead of praising her for how hard she trained, they praised her for things that happened decades before she was born, and having the long hair and some facial appearance of Madara didn't help. She was the youngest living Uchiha, only 5 years old, but she was already predicted by the clan elders to be a prodigy. As she thought about that, it pissed her off even more. They never even saw my fight, or train for that matter. How do they know I'm going to be a prodigy, she thought. In short, everyone in the clan was starting to annoy her. Her parents died on a mission, and instead of treating her like they would any other Uchiha orphan, they treated her like she was queen of the world. She quickly developed an attitude that said, fuck with me and I'll hurt you even if I am only 5, and a few times she went through on that to one Sasuke Uchiha, the boy closest to her age, only a year older, after he kept asking for her hand in marriage. Honestly, I'm 5 fucking years old, why the hell would I think about marrying anyone, let alone someone who can't beat me, she thought angrily. Her mental rant on how pissed off she was at the Uchiha clan was interrupted. Funu, dinner's ready, her guardian said. Yes, Miss Mikoto, Funu replied kindly to the older woman. Funu, why am I the only one who you don't talk to as if you hate them, Mikoto asked. You're the only one who don't treat me as if I'm some kind of princess. You treat me the same as you do every other Uchiha kid. Like a kid, Funu said. Mikoto smiled. Because you are a kid in my eyes, but to everyone else you are the princess of the Uchiha clan, she said. Why, I don't want to be a princess, I want to be just Funu and create my own path. I hate how everyone thinks they have to give me everything, Funu said. I know you do, sweetie. But you only have to put up with it for a few more years until you get on a genin team, Mikoto said. Funu followed Mikoto in silence to her house and took her normal seat next to Sasuke. Sasuke blushed like usual, which Funu ignored, and grabbed a plate and filled it with potatoes and fish, her favorite dinner. As she started eating, she felt a pair of eyes on her and looked up. What, she asked. Funu, I know you have been training by yourself, but now I'm going to start training you, Fugaku said. What, Otosan, can you train me, Sasuke asked. Of course he will, Sasuke-kun, Mikoto said. Fugaku was about to object until Mikoto glared at him. Of course, son, you can train with us, he said nervously, looking at Mikoto, who smiled sweetly at him. Funu rolled her eyes. Yeah, whatever, not like I have a choice, she said. Of course you have a choice, you're the heir to the clan, Fugaku said. No, she don't have a choice, This isn't an option, it's time for her to get trained formally by someone who knows what they are doing, Makoto said. Makoto, she does have a choice in this, Fugaku said. Why is that, because she is a descendant of Madara or because she is the heir, Makoto asked. Well, both, Fugaku said. Makoto pinched the bridge of her nose. You're letting a 5-year-old tell you what to do, yet you boast about being the strongest in the clan. You're a walking contradiction, and you're sleeping on the couch for the next month, she said. Well, why I didn't do nothing, Fugaku said. This is not a discussion, or you don't have an option. Do not come into my room this month, Makoto said, and started to eat. Funa smiled and continued to eat her food. Thank you, Miss Makoto, she said. Don't thank me, dear, and no more, Miss Makoto. You're as much of my family as anyone else. Just call me Makoto, she said. The next day, Funa just finished training with Sasuke and Fugaku. The entire thing was supervised by Makoto because Fugaku was showing special attention to Funa and not training them how he was supposed to. Funa at the moment was walking around the village and went to the park. As she got there, she saw it was empty except one girl. She went up to her. Can I play with you, she asked. Sure, I'm Sudara Kimichi, she said. Funa Uchiha, she told the girl. Sudara looked at her. You seem different than any other Uchiha. Why is that, she asked. What do you mean, Funa asked. Well, the other Uchiha our age is stuck up and always talk about me and says how he is so much better than me, Sudara said. Oh, you mean Sasuke? I don't like him, he fawns over me all the time, it's really annoying, Funa said. So why are you so different, Sudara asked again. Well, everyone in the clan except Makoto treats me as if I'm some princess or something. No one treats me like a child, so I decided I'm going to be just like Makoto. She is so nice but still strong, and she didn't even unlock her Sharingan, Funa said. Oh, want to be friends, Sudara asked. Sure, Funa said. A few hours later, Makoto came looking for Funa and found the two playing in the sandbox. Funa having fun? Who is your friend, she asked. Yes, and this is Sudara, she is in a Kimichi, Funa said. Well, hello, I'm Makoto, she said. Hello, Funa told me about how nice you was, Sudara said. Is that so, Makoto asked with a smile. Yes, she said you was the nicest in the clan, Sudara said. Well, thank you, Funa, for the compliment, Makoto said. Funa smiled. You're welcome, cousin, she said. Makoto looked at her while she slapped her hands over her mouth and ran away. Sudara looked at where she was sitting at. Why did she run like that, she asked. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure she gets home safe. You should get going yourself, it's almost dark out, Makoto said, and went after Funa. Funa ran into the forest that was closest to the park. She ran to her secret spot that she made a grave for her parents. She stopped in front of their makeshift grave and fell to her knees crying. Why did you have to die? I called Miss Makoto cousin. I didn't mean to, but it slipped. I'm sorry, cousin. I hope you're not mad, she cried. Funa stopped crying after a few minutes and cleaned the weeds and twigs off their grave. So you're probably wondering why I called her cousin. Well, since you died, she was the only person who didn't treat me as if I'm some freaky person. To everyone in the clan, I'm Princess Funa, or Madara's legacy, or the girl who was born with Madara's spirit, or the Uchiha savior, but to Makoto I'm just Funa, 5-year-old girl with no family. And she took me, and Funa sat between her parents' grave and cried again. Makoto watched the 5-year-old with tears in her eyes. She didn't want to, but she had to make sure she was okay and heard everything she said. After a few deep breaths she walked out. Funa, are you okay, she asked. Funa quickly wiped her face. Sorry I ran away like that, Miss Makoto, she said. Makoto walked behind the 5-year-old and pulled her into a hug. Don't be sorry. You're still trying to get over your parents' death. And I'm not trying to take their place, just make it easier for you, she said. Funa turned and hugged her. Thank you, Miss Makoto, for being so nice to me, she said. Makoto smiled. You're like the daughter I always wanted but can never have, she admitted. Why can't you have a daughter, Funa asked. Well, I can't have any babies. I got too injured during a mission to have any, Makoto said, trying not to get into the details. Oh, Funa said. She laid her head on Makoto's shoulder. Well, Funa, time for us to get back home, Makoto said. Okay, cousin, Funa said. What did you call me, Makoto asked. I called you cousin. I talked to mine and she said she is not mad that I call you cousin, Funa said. Makoto looked at the makeshift grave and smiled, then carried her daughter home. Makoto walked into the house carrying Funa, and Sasuke looked at them. Cousin, why are you carrying Funa, he asked. Because she wanted me to carry her, Makoto responded. But she is not your daughter, her parents are dead, Sasuke said. Sasuke Uchiha, go to your room and don't come out until I tell you to, Makoto said. What, why I didn't do nothing, Sasuke complained. Funa kept her face into Makoto's shoulder so Sasuke wouldn't see her cry and make fun of her. Makoto just glared at her youngest son. Sasuke, I said get to your room now. You have no idea how those words hurt, and I'm very disappointed that you would say something like that, she said. But cousin, Sasuke whined. Makoto smacked him. I said get to your room, she demanded. Sasuke ran to his room crying while holding his hurting face. Makoto took Funa to her room and laid her on her bed. Don't be mad, he takes after his Otosan, and you know how much an idiot he is, she said. But why would he say something like that? He don't know how it feels not to have parents to play with me, to punish me, or to eat with me, Funa cried. Makoto rubbed her back. My daughter, I want you to know that your parents are always watching you, she said. Really, Funa asked. Makoto kissed her head. Yes, they are, and they will be proud of the young woman you're growing into, she said. Thanks, cousin, that means a lot to me, Funa said. Makoto smiled. I'll bring your dinner up to you after I talk to that son of mine, she said. Later that night, after Funa finished her dinner, Makoto walked into her room with Sasuke. Funa glared at him, then turned to face the other way. Funa, don't be like that, Makoto said. He shouldn't be such a stupid head, Funa said. You have a point, Funa, Makoto said, then turned to Sasuke. Sasuke, do you have something to say, she asked. Sorry, he said. Funa just ignored him. Sorry for what Mikoto asked. Sorry for what I said, Sasuke said. And Mikoto asked? And I will never say it again, or I will be in trouble, Sasuke said. Funa still ignored him. Funa, Mikoto said. Fine, I forgive you for being a stupid head, she said, not looking at him. Good, now time for bed, both of you, Mikoto said. Once she heard Sasuke walk out, Funa turned around. Can you train me instead, she asked. Are you sure Fugaku is stronger than I am, Mikoto asked. I don't care how strong he is. I don't want to be strong. I want to be like you, a great kunoichi, wife, and cousin, Funa said. Sure, I'll train you, Funa, but I won't go easy on you just because you're my daughter, Mikoto said. Funa smiled. Thanks, cousin, she said, and closed her eyes to sleep. 2 months later, Funa and Sasuke was standing across from each other in the training field. Be careful, you two. This is just a spar, don't try and hurt each other, Mikoto said. Begin, Fugaku said. Sasuke took off towards Funa and aimed a punch towards her head. Funa ducked under the hit and tried to kick Sasuke in the stomach. The older boy used his greater speed to dodge and get behind Funa. Funa wasn't no slouch in the speed department either, and showed how her training with Mikoto helped her by being able to keep up with Sasuke, who was said to be the fastest young Uchiha. Sasuke kicked at Funa's midsection, but Funa blocked and tried to kick him in the head. They exchanged and blocked a few hits and kicks with each other until Sasuke was able to score a right hook to Funa's chin. Fugaku jumped in the middle. That's enough, he said. When I'm not finished, I can still fight, Funa said. Funa, this wasn't to see who was stronger but to see where you are in your training, Mikoto said. Okay, Funa said, and walked to get her water. Later that day, Funa was sitting in her room doing basic chakra exercises, since it was too late to be outside when Mikoto walked in. Why are you still woke, she asked. I couldn't sleep, Funa said. Still thinking about that spar, Mikoto asked. I know I can beat him. He just got lucky, Funa said. Mikoto smiled. I have no doubt you can. But what is more important is that your form for this new speed style you're learning had little openings. If you keep this up, you will surpass even Itachi in speed in a few years, she said. This style uses speed to beat the opponent, and not power, right, Funa asked. Yes, Mikoto replied. So would it help if I increased my own strength by myself to help give my hits more force, Funa asked. Well, as long as you don't do anything that will take your speed advantage away, I see no reason to stop you, Mikoto said. Okay, cousin, I think I will try and get some sleep. Little did Funa know that would be the last time she lost a spar to anyone her age or who wasn't a chunin in a long time. A few years later, Funa and Satoru was in their secret spot training to their heart's content. The two best friends was easily the two strongest their age. The two 7-year-olds didn't really get along with other girls their age. They was too materialistic for their taste. The only girls they talked to was Ino Yamanaka and Tenten, but even they was more so they was up on the latest news around the village. They did train with them a few times though. Funa didn't understand why other girl didn't talk to Satoru, as she was easily one of the nicest girls in the village. She never hurt a fly, and was cute. Funa shrugged it off as jealousy because it was clear that not many could compete with the young Akimichi in looks. There was that Hana Inuzuka and Hanabi Hyuga, but they stayed to themselves, especially Hanabi. She always looked like she was expecting someone to come to the village. Satoru stopped their spar out of breath. For the life of her she couldn't figure out how Funa had so much more stamina than she did. She trained just as hard. She put a lot of effort in getting stronger, but Funa was still ahead of her. It annoyed her at first, but she got over it after she finally was able to beat her Aniki in a spar. Even if he wasn't going all out, she still beat him. Satoru looked at Funa. Are you starting the academy tomorrow, she asked. Yes, I think I will, Kazan said. If I wanted I can to be in the class with you and Ino. Even if we ain't the best of friends, I would rather be in class with two people I consider friends than without anyone I know, Funa said. Hey, we should get new clothes for the academy, Satoru said with stars in her eyes at the thought of shopping. Funa rolled her eyes. What's wrong with the clothes I have, she asked. No offense, but those clothes look like they was hit by a couple high-ranked jutsus, Satoru said. Funa looked at her baggy pants and overly large shirt. They are comfortable. And I got this shirt from Kazan and it's my favorite, she said. I'm not saying get rid of them, but you need your own look. You are turning into a mini Mikoto, Satoru said. Is that a bad thing? I do look up to her, Funa asked. No, but don't you want to make a name for yourself and not be looked at as if you was a mini Mikoto, Satoru asked. Better than being looked at as Madara's granddaughter. At least Mikoto is alive, Funa said. Just come on, you only have to get a couple outfits, Satoru said, dragging Funa with her. Funa walked out of the dressing room wearing a pair of form-fitting black shorts and a white t-shirt that stopped just where the shorts begin. I like this outfit. I'm buying it and more like it, she said. Satoru rolled her eyes. The idea was to get your own style, she said to Funa. I know you can't expect me to get out of my comfort zone without working my way into a new style, can you, Funa replied. I guess you're right, Satoru said. She then spotted a black dress and looked at Funa and smiled. Don't even think about it, Funa growled out. Oh come on please, Satoru said. Not in all the levels of hell will I buy that thing, Funa growled. But I never seen you in a dress, Satoru countered. And if I have any say in it, which I do, you won't, Funa said. Please, at least try it on and I won't never ask you to try on a dress again, Satoru asked. Funa looked at her. On the Akimichi honor, she asked after a while. On the Akimichi honor, I will never ask you to try on a dress after today, unless you ask my help to find you one, Satoru said. Fine, but no one better not find out about this, Funa said. She then took the dress and went into the dressing room. After a few minutes she called out, Satoru, how do you put this thing on, she asked. Satoru had to suppress her giggles. Hold on, I'll help you, Satoru said and walked into the room with her. After she had the dress on, Satoru and Funa stepped out of the dressing room and Satoru looked at her. Funa didn't know what to do, so she spent around so Suduru can see the entire thing. What do you think? She asked. You're beautiful. I would ask you to buy it, but I made a promise, Suduru said. Funa thought. Well, it feels weird, she said. At least you know how to put on a dress if you ever need to wear one, Suduru said. Yeah, but I never will, Funa said. What about when you get married or if you go to a funeral? Suduru asked. Funa shrugged. I'll wear my normal clothes, she said. A few years later, Funa was staying at the Akimichi compound when the village's alarm went off. The two 10-year-olds jumped off the couch and ran to find Sudoru's parents. Chusa ran to them. Come with me, Funa. Suduru, go in the kitchen with your cousin and Choji, he said. Chusa put his hand on Funa's shoulder and vanished from Sudoru's view with a shunshin and appeared in the hospital. What happened to Sasuke? She asked. There was a murder in the Uchiha clan, the third said. A murder? What happened? Is everyone else okay? Funa asked, worried. I don't know how to tell you, but you and Sasuke are two of the last 3 Uchihas, the third said. What do you mean? Funa asked, scared of what she was hearing. Itachi killed the Uchihas except you and Sasuke. He also put Sasuke in the hospital. I think he used the Manjikyu Sharingan to show him killing everyone and caused Sasuke to go unconscious, the third said. Funa dropped to her knees crying. And Kazan, is she dead also? She asked, already knowing the answer but had to ask anyway. After all, she was the only Uchiha that was ever nice to her. I'm sorry, Funa. I know how much Mikoto meant to you after your parents died, the third was cut off. And no, you don't know anything. I lost my cousin twice. How could you know what I feel? How can any of you know how I feel? Funa yelled as her fully mastered Sharingan activated and started to spin from her emotional loss. She then jumped out the window and ran away from everything. The third and Chusa looked at the window the 10-year-old jumped out of. I hope she is going to be okay, Chusa said. As do I, the third said. She is right, you know. No one knows what it's like to lose 2 cousins. Most of us never lost our first, Chusa said. I know, but what can we do besides give her time and our support, the third asked. I don't think she wants our support. Honestly, I have seen this girl in action, and she is amazing. It's no wonder Mikoto takes so much pride in her, even saying she is better than Itachi when he was at her age. I think the only thing we can do is wait, and hope this don't kill the girl we all knew as Funa and create the girl the Uchihas called Madara's granddaughter, Chusa said. You're right. Now I have a large funeral to plan, the third said. Funa ran, then ran some more, and ran again. She didn't know where she was going. She could barely see in front of her face with all the tears. When she stopped, she found herself in a familiar place. Oh cousin, why do everything always get taken away from me? She cried to the 2 makeshift graves. Funa just sat there crying her eyes out. 3 days later, the day of the Uchiha funeral was upon the village, and no one had seen Funa even once since she was told the news. Everyone was worried, none more so than Suduru, the girl's self-proclaimed older sister. She sat in the front of the funeral service in hopes that Funa would come and let her help her through this. To Sudoru's surprise, everyone in the village, even the Hyugas who hated the Uchihas, was at the funeral. She walked up to Hayashi. Not to be rude, but why are the Hyugas here? I thought you hated the Uchihas, she asked in confusion. Hayashi nodded. I understand the reason for the question, and we do hate each other. But the Hyugas don't have a reason not to come to the funeral if it involves someone from this village. And no matter how much we hated each other, we both depended on the other to keep enemies from outside the village off our back while we watched over our half of the village, he explained. So what will you do now? Suduru asked. I will do what I can to keep the village safe like always. Today is a time to mourn, but our enemies will not take it easy on trying to catch us off guard, and as long as the Hyuga clan is alive, we will do all we can to make up for the loss of one of the largest shinobi clans in the village. Of course we can't do it by ourselves, and I would expect the other shinobi clans to do the same, Hayashi said. Oh, was all Suduru said as she walked back to her seat. Everyone who was around was just as surprised at what Hayashi said, all knowing how many times Hayashi and Fugaku tried to kill each other. Funa woke up still tired after making another makeshift grave, this one for her second cousin. She looked at them. Sorry I wasn't there to protect you, cousin, she said. As she turned and started to walk away, she remembered what Mikoto said. A true kunoichi doesn't look for revenge. A true kunoichi don't fight to kill. A true kunoichi fight to protect what's important to her. A true kunoichi will always protect what's important to her until her last breath. When the time comes, Funa, will you be a true kunoichi, or will you be an avenger and dishonor all those who gave their lives to protect you? Funa smiled as remembered those words and headed towards the village. The funeral was just about over when the gate to the grave house was opened. Everyone turned in shock at the beauty that just walked into the funeral. Suduru couldn't help but smile as she saw her best friend in that dress she tried on a few years ago. It did surprise Suduru that she could still fit it. But then again, while everyone grew, Funa remained one of the smallest people in the entire village, standing at a mere 4 foot 5 inches. Every guy within 5 years of her age in the funeral stared awestruck and drool out of their mouth at her. She was wearing a long black dress that touched the ground. It was strapless, and hair was no longer in her usual bun but hung down her back, just like both her cousins' hair did. She slowly walked up to the front of the funeral and saw Suduru and hugged her quickly, then stepped up by the Hokage. Can I say something? She asked. Of course, the third said. Funa turned and faced everyone and was about to speak, but her words caught in her throat, and she started to cry again. For a few minutes everyone looked at her with tears in their eyes. Suduru finally got up and ran up to her friend. Come on, let it all out. We can wait, she whispered while hugging her. 5 minutes later Funa stopped crying. Better? Suduru asked. Yes, thanks, Suduru, Funa replied. Suduru was about to walk back down to her seat, but Funa grabbed her. Can you stay with me? She asked. Of course, Suduru smiled and stood next to her for moral support. Funa breathed. I'm sure you all know who I am, so I won't bother telling you, but I would like to say that Mikoto was the closest person to me since my cousin died. She became my second cousin. Funa stopped and had to force back tears. She taught me everything I know, and at times I wasn't the best person to deal with, but she just smiled and said it'd take time to get used to having someone to look after me. She even taught me how to smile again when my cousin was killed on her mission. Funa stopped and thought of what to say next. I remember one day I was mad and tried to kill Sasuke because he started to talk about my cousin. When cousin Mikoto stopped me, she took me to our training area and looked me in the eyes and said, "A true kunoichi doesn't look for revenge. A true kunoichi don't fight to kill. A true kunoichi fight to protect what's important to her. A true kunoichi will always protect what's important to her until her last breath. When the time comes, Funa, will you be a true kunoichi, or will you be an avenger and dishonor all those who gave their lives to protect you?" At first I didn't know what she meant, but I think now. Funa stopped and looked back at the graves of the Uchihas. I think now I understand. They wouldn't want me to get revenge. I have friends who love me. I have people to protect. I have a village to keep safe. I have a legacy to carry out. I am a kunoichi, and kunoichis don't look for revenge, they protect. I will do everything in my power to protect those I care for and those who can't protect themselves. I think that's what she meant. A true kunoichi doesn't go out trying to get killed or kill. She only raises her hands to kill for the kids, men, women, and old people who can't do it themselves. A kunoichi never takes a life for her own gain. Funa finished. Once she stopped talking, it was quiet for a minute, then slowly everyone started to clap for her. Sudara turned and pulled Funa into a hug. "What a great speech, Funa," she praised. Funa smiled. "I couldn't have done it without you," she said. The two went back and sat down. The third stepped up. "I think everyone here will agree that what Funa said is true on so many levels and don't just apply to kunoichis, but also shinobis, and we can only hope Sasuke takes the same attitude," he said. A week later, Funa was standing inside the council's office. "We think it's a good idea for you and Sasuke to date," one of the council members said. "And who gave you any idea I would take anything you consider into consideration?" Funa asked coldly. "It's for the best. This way we can start to rebuild the Uchiha clan as soon as possible," another council member said. "Look, you fucking bastards, I'm not a damn baby making factory. I'm a kunoichi, and if I decide to have any children at all, it will not be with that fucking arrogant, stuck-up, selfish, asshole Sasuke. It will be with who I chose," Funa said. "You don't have a choice," the council member said. "Oh, I want you to try and force me to do anything and you will see just why." Cousin said I was better than Itachi, Funa threatened. The Shinobi Council smiled at that threat. "Funa, you have to think about this. It's a great opportunity to start the Uchiha clan over how you want it," Danzo said. "I said no, and I'm not changing my mind, and if I have to I will make sure Sasuke never has kids," Funa threatened again with her Sharingan active. "Well, you have your answer, you can go," Funa the third said. Funa walked out the tower with her Sharingan still blazing. "Funa, what's wrong?" Sudara asked. "Those fucking bastards tried to force me to have kids with that jerk," Funa said. "What? But Otosan said they can't force you to do that since you are not the last with your bloodline," Sudara said. "It wasn't the entire council, just the idiotic civilian council and the elders," Funa said, looking at Sudara. "Funa, fight me," Sasuke said. "I don't have time for you," Funa replied, walking past Sasuke. Sasuke waited until she was past him, then attacked her. Funa reacted too fast for Sasuke and kicked him in the head. She then put her foot on his throat before he could get up. Everyone looked surprised at how easily she took him out. Funa looked at him with her Sharingan spinning. "You just don't get it, do you? I'll explain it. I don't have time for your damn games, Sasuke. If you keep attacking me when I tell you I don't want to fight you, I will end up hurting you. Maybe even kill you." So she put more pressure on his neck. "Stay the fuck away from me," she said, then walked off with Sudara. "That was impressive. Have you gotten faster?" Sudara asked. "I haven't slowed down my training. I need to be able to protect what's important to me," Funa said. "So what will you do about the Sasuke?" Sudara asked. "Don't know. Sometimes he asks to spar. Sometimes he follows me like a love-struck kitsune asking me to go out with him. But he is a full-time pain in my ass and sharing an apartment only makes it worse," Funa said. "Well, hopefully in a year we will be on the same team," Sudara said. "Hopefully also between you and me I hope I can find someone who isn't a lost kitsune in love. You know, just a guy who actually treats me like any other person," Funa said. "I know what you mean. It happens with me all the time. And I can only imagine how bad it has gotten since everyone saw you in that dress," Sudara said. "I know I shouldn't have worn it. Now people won't stay away from me," Funa said. "Yeah, join the Beautiful Air Club. Me, Ino, and Hana have to deal with that all the time," Sudara said. "So that's my history," Funa said, looking down. "I didn't mean to make you relive that," Naruto said. "It's fine. It actually feel good to tell someone," Funa said. "So you get your style from Team's cousin. I still find that hard to believe." "I mean, he is such a team," Naruto said. "I know. Sometimes I think the doctors switched him at birth," Funa laughed. "Well, anyway, thanks for sharing your past with me, even though you didn't have to," Naruto said. "It's fine, Naruto," Funa said. A few hours later they was walking through Nami no Kuni when Naruto threw a kunai into some bushes, and Funa had a kunai in her hand. Naruto ran into the bushes but only found a white rabbit. He frowned for a minute then shrugged, holding the scared animal. "Haku would love this," he said. "Naruto no baka, now is not the time to get gifts for your fangirls," Sakura yelled. "Are you serious calling someone a fangirl? Your head is so far up Team's uncleaned ass that you breath through his mouth," Naruto said. "They used a substitution," Funa said. "Yeah, but who was there? They must be at least jounin, because I know I'm faster than most shunins," Naruto said. "I agree with you, they must get down," Funa yelled all of a sudden as she, Naruto, and Kakashi who pulled Tsunade fell to the ground. Sasuke and Sakura barely dropped in time. I see you have good senses to notice me, the person said. Why damn mister, you're clever, almost hit me and my new rabbit. Which by the way you scared, Naruto said. The man chuckled. So that's where my rabbit is, thanks for finding it, can I have it back, he asked. Nope, finders keepers, Naruto said, holding the rabbit away from the man. Naruto, now is not the time for your jokes, Kakashi said. What, just because Zabuza is here don't mean I can't have fun. Life of a shinobi is too short to be a stuck-up prick, Naruto said. Funu finally started laughing, which she was trying to hold in. Man, you're so, you said, then you held it away. She couldn't even get her words out through her laughter. You're a hazard to Fluffy's life, Zabuza. Can you hold your attack so I can seal her in a scroll, Naruto asked, and pulled out a scroll and ink and started to make a seal for the rabbit. You named the rabbit after 10 minutes, Funa asked. Well, yeah, she can't be nameless, can she, Naruto asked. Naruto, no baka, what makes you so sure it's a girl, Sakura yelled. Naruto looked at the pink pain in his ass. Well, unless you're blind, deaf, retarded, and have a problem with your own sexuality, it's pretty damn hard not to notice it's a girl, he said, holding the rabbit up so she could see the female part of the rabbit. I waited long enough. Time to kill the old man, Zabuza said. Naruto put the scroll in his pack. Cyclops, I am not at his level, so you're going to have to take him if you can, that is, he said, dropping back next to Funu in a defensive position. A few minutes later, Kakashi was caught in Zabuza's bubble prison, yelling at them to run back to the village. Naruto unsealed his gun blade. Anyone have a plan, he asked. They all thought, we need to free Kakashi-sensei, Sakura stated. Holy shit, that's freaking brilliant, why didn't anyone else think of that? How long did it take you to figure that out, Naruto asked sarcastically. Naruto, now is not the time, Funa said while thinking. Got it, team, do you have those large shurikens, she asked Sasuke. Yes, why, he asked. Because she then told them the plan. Naruto summoned a bunch of clones and sent them all at Zabuza. Then Sasuke jumped and threw his large shuriken at Zabuza, who easily jumped over it. You're going to have to do better than that, he said. He then saw the second in its shadow. Shit. You bastards, he said, bringing his clever to block it. The one behind him popped. Back here, idiot, Naruto yelled, running across the ocean towards him, gunblade ready. Zabuza brought his clever around ready to strike Naruto. Now Funa, he yelled. The other large shuriken went pop and Funa was running at him from the front with Naruto from the back. Damn brats, he then pulled his hand out of the bubble and used the kunai to block the bow's staff and his clever to block the gunblade. Kakashi kicked him in the back, sending him flying. Damn it, Zabuza yelled. Good work, Funa, now leave this to me. Kakashi then went through some hand signs. Why the hell do you insist on not giving me credit for my skills, Naruto yelled in frustration. Naruto, don't let the pervert we have for a sensei get to you, Funa said, walking back to shore with Naruto. Just as Kakashi was about to kill Zabuza, he was kicked, and Zabuza was gone with whoever kicked him. Naruto shook his head at him. That's what he gets, he mumbled to Funa. The genins, mainly Funu and Naruto, dragged Kakashi to Tsunade house and was greeted by his daughter Tsunade. Thank you for keeping my Otosan safe, she said. Don't worry, miss, I would have came alone with him if I had to, Naruto said. Yeah, and got yourself killed, Sasuke mumbled. Lick Sakura's unwiped ass, teen, Naruto said. Naruto, don't ever put an image like that in my head again, Funa said. Sorry, but your relative is an arrogant prick and he pisses me off, Naruto said. I know that. He is my relative, remember, Funa said. So what do we do now, Naruto asked. Fight me, Sasuke said. Fight yourself, Naruto said, turning to Tsunade. Is there anything you need help with around the house? I can catch fish or cut tree for warmth for next winter if you want, Naruto said. How sweet of you. But if you don't mind, I don't have enough food for everyone. It would be nice if you went to the market and get whatever you can, she said. Sure, anything to help, he said. And get away from those two, he mumbled. Funa, fight me, Sasuke said. Why don't you practice safe sex and go fuck yourself? I'm going with Uzumaki, we don't know what enemies are here, Funa said, walking out the door behind him. The two started to walk around the village and noticed how poor it was. What the hell? We can't eat this stuff, Naruto said. It's all that they have, Naruto, and stop being so loud if you're going to talk bad. Others can hear you, Funa said. I wonder how it got this bad. I was here 2 years ago before I came back to Konoha and it wasn't this bad, Naruto said. Must be that Gato guy, Funa said. I have an idea, follow me, Naruto said, and ran back to the house. Make sure no one is watching. I'm going to grow them some vegetables, then we can go catch some fish, he said. Okay, Kagebushin no Jutsu. She created 3 clones and sent them to watch Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi. Our teammates are in the house nowhere near the windows, she said. Mokutan, vegetable grow no Jutsu, he said. He put his hands on the ground and pushed his chakra through the ground. In the space all around them, all different kinds of vegetables grew. I'm going to do some fruit now, he told Funa. Okay, you are still clear to do it, Funa replied. Naruto went to another part of the yard. Mokutan, fruit grow no Jutsu, he said. All types of fruit bushes and trees grew. He got up and went through more hand signs. Mokutan, fenced off no Jutsu. A large fence grew around the yard going from the pier by the ocean all the way to the house. Then no one will be able to get into their yard unless they use the ocean or from the house, he said. That was a nice thing you did, Funa said. Naruto shrugged. When you grow up like I did, you do anything you can to help others, he said. Now we need to get the food in the house without being noticed, Funa said. Well, if I'm sensing right, they are in the living room. We can run in the back door, and then out the front door, then come back, and Naruto suggested. Okay, let's get going, Funa said. Once they returned to the house, they called Tsunade, who was pleasantly surprised by the fruits, vegetables, and fish they had. How did you get all this? The best I can ever get is almost old food, she asked. You have to promise not to tell anyone how we got it, Naruto said. I promise. Tell me please, I can't keep feeding my son this stuff, Tsunade said in desperation. Just tell her, Funa said before Naruto could say anything else. Well, I can use Mokuton jutsus to grow trees and with more concentration and chakra plants, so I use this ability to grow you a garden. You have vegetables and fruit growing in your yard. As long as they stay watered you will always have food, Naruto said. Tsunade looked in her yard and almost squealed. Thank you so much, Naruto. She hugged and kissed him a few times on the cheek. She then hugged Fun just as tightly but didn't kiss her. Thank you so much, Funa, you may have saved my family, she said. It was our pleasure. Anytime you need something send word to Konoha for Uzumaki, Senju, or Funa and we will come help you, Funa said. That night at dinner Tazuna and Inari was surprised at the freshness and tastiness of the food and got curious. Mom, where did you get this food from? It's so good, Inari asked. Tsunade could keep the giddiness and squeal out of her voice but knew her promise. Naruto and Funa intercepted a cart of vegetables, fruit, and fish going to Gato and killed the samurai and took the food for us, son. She easily lied with all the happiness in the world. Thank you too, you kept my grandpa safe and got us good food. If there is anything I can do to thank you then let me know, Inari said. Just don't give up faith in your country as long as you believe things will turn around, Naruto said. And always look after your cousin and show her your love as much as possible. You never know when you won't have her no more, Funa said. Kakashi slowly came down the steps. I knew I smelled something delicious, he said. You can thank those two. They caught a shipment of food headed to Gato and brought it here as payment for letting you all stay here. Tsunade lied again. Kakashi eyed the two. Is that so? Then a good job is in order, he said. Finally I get some freaking recognition on this damn team, Naruto said. Kakashi sat down and Tsunade brought him some food. Now I will be out of commission for a few days, so while I'm out I want you four to learn tree walking and water walking, he said. I already know both of those, Naruto spoke up. Then help the other three, Kakashi said. I know them too, Funa said. Then Lady Uchiha, you help Sakura and help her with taijutsu and increasing her chakra reserve, please, Kakashi said. Okay, I will help her but only if she don't drop that Sasuke-kun crap while I'm helping her. The last thing I need is to hear her fawn over my team cousin during personal training, Funa said. She won't. Naruto, you help Sasuke with tree walking and then teach him some jutsus that Jiraiya-sama taught you, Kakashi demanded. The hell I will. The best he gets from is a kick in the rear while falling out of a paper plane, Naruto said. Paper plane, Funa asked. Oh, I'll show you later. It's a jutsu my cousin taught me, Naruto said. Naruto, you will teach Sasuke some jutsus, Kakashi said. Yeah, when you teach me that Rasengan copy Chidori of yours, Naruto said. You're not skilled enough to learn that, Kakashi said. And he is not skilled enough to learn any of my jutsus, Naruto said. Naruto, this is not a request, it is a demand, Kakashi said. Miss Tsunade, can I be excused? Naruto asked his host. Sure, Naruto, make sure to be back in time for a good night's sleep, she said. I will. Naruto got up and walked out the room, not sparing another look at Kakashi. He took his plate to the kitchen and walked back and out the front door, not saying anything but smiling at Tsunade. Funa looked at her team. Can I be excused? She asked Tsunade. Sure, she replied. I'll make sure he is safe, and took her plate to the kitchen and ran after Naruto. Hey, slow down, she said once she caught up. Funa, why are you out here? He asked. She shrugged. You think I want to be stuck in there with an arrogant cousin, fangirl, and a sensei who is clearly playing favorites with Sasuke. He even treat him better than he treats Mai, and I'm the freaking heir to the clan, she said. Right, well, want to see that jutsu I told you I would show you? He asked. Yes, please, she said. It's another bloodline, from my cousin's side of the family, he told her. Kami origami. Paper plane, he said, going through hand signs. A large piece of paper came out of the ground and formed into an airplane. The girls at home love this technique, they always have me take them on rides over villages with it, he said. Can we go for a ride? She asked. Sure, he helped her up on the paper plane. Careful, and don't make sudden moves. Once it's in the air it's not as strong. And if I use Kyuubi's chakra it won't fly as fast, Naruto told her, and jumped behind her. Okay, I'm ready, she said. Naruto used his Futon element, and propelled the plane into the air and over Nami no Kuni. As they flew over the country, Funa noticed something. Naruto, look, I think I found Gato's hideout, she said, pointing to the large building with a ton of samurais. I think you did. Should we tell our team? Naruto asked. We can when we get back. But now I want to find that lion scroll your dragon said was here, Funa said. Naruto landed on the ground and jumped out. Tajo Kage Bushin no Jutsu, he said. 200 clones puffed into the area. Okay, go find that lion summoning scroll, leave no rock unturned, no building unsearched. And one of you go to Gato's place we saw and look around for useful information, he said. Kage Bushin no Jutsu, 20 clones appeared in the area. You help look for the scroll, and one of you go to Gato's and look for information, Funa said. She then thought, wait, I need another one to train. I haven't been able to get any in today, she said. One of you go train with her, Naruto said. They got back on the paper plane and started to fly over the country. They saw how poor Gato was making the place and both wanted to go and blow the building that Gato was in right now. Hey Naruto, maybe we should find out who was helping Zabuza so we can be prepared, Funa said. They flew around the country looking for any clues as to where Zabuza was or who was helping him. Eventually they found a suspicious house that was too far out of the way and sent a clone there. Naruto looked at his watch. We better get back or Tsunade might worry, he said. Funa laughed. We are ninjas and we are worried about a civilian who we are protecting worrying about us, she laughed again. Naruto laughed, also thinking it was kind of ironic. He landed the plane out of eyesight of the house. Why did you land so far away, she asked. I don't want Kakashi to try and demand I teach it to his precious Sasuke. Not that I can anyway since it's a bloodline, but you know how the pervert is, Naruto answered. I got you, she said. How did he get the Sharingan? I thought only Uchihas could have them, Naruto asked. Not true, only an Uchiha can use them to their full potential, but it's still just an eye and all eyes can be transplanted. Which reminds me, if I somehow die, I want you to take one of my Sharingans as a sign of our friendship, she said. Really, you think of me as that much of a friend, Naruto asked. Funa smiled. You're as good of a friend I would ever want, she told him. Naruto went in his pack and pulled out a scroll. Funa, here he took out a letter that was on a piece of yarn. This is a sign of my friendship. As long as you have this, we will always be friends and nothing can stop us from being friends, he said. Thanks, Naruto. She took the letter F and outed around her neck. They walked in the house. Pervert, we have something to report from our walk around the village, Naruto said. Kakashi flipped the page of his book and read a few lines which really ticked Naruto and Funa off because this information could be life or death. He finally looked up. What do you have to report, he asked as if he really didn't care. We found Gaara's hideout. It's not even on this island but a few miles offshore, and it's surrounded by samurais, Naruto said. We also found Zabuza. He is further up on the island leading to Kiri. It's the only house in the area so you can't miss it. He is with Kisame and a medic named Funa said. Kakashi nodded. Good job, Funa, he said. Can please close the door when you leave and sleep well, he said. Naruto walked out of the room fuming at Kakashi now. I can't believe that bastard didn't give me my credit again, he said angrily. I can't either, Funa said just as angry. They walked into the living room. Sat on the couch. Tsunade walked in from the kitchen with a few apples. You shouldn't let him get to you so much. It's obvious to me, and I'm just a civilian woman, that he shows favorites towards that other boy, she said, handing a piece of fruit. But he have been giving my credit to teams since we became a team. If it wasn't for me talking up about the missions we was getting, we wouldn't even be here now, Naruto complained. Hey, I don't know how things work with you ninjas, but us non-ninja people have a saying, what goes around comes around. And I think that things will come and bit all three of them in the ass soon, Tsunade said. And I hope it's by a rabid one-legged ferret with no teeth, Naruto said. Tsunade and Funa looked at him, then they started laughing. The next day, everyone was up eating breakfast, which consisted of fresh pancakes that Tsunade made from the wheat she harvested from the garden Naruto grew her. He added specific things at her request so she can make more well-rounded meals instead of just veggies and fruits, as Inari put it when he saw what they had in the fridge. As they ate, Sasuke glared at Naruto the entire time. Naruto tried to ignore him like Tsunade suggested, but this was started to be overboard. Team, what are you looking at? Just so you know, I don't flip sticks. I like swimming in the pond, he said. It took them a few minutes to get what he was saying, but when they did, Tsunade, Funa, and Tazuna laughed. Kakashi had no reaction. Sasuke was seething. Inari didn't know what he was talking about, and Sakura was jumping over the table at him. Naruto no baka, Sasuke is not gay, she yelled, swinging at his head, which he ducked under. How can you be too sure? I mean, only a gay, as you said, would constantly refuse a girl who is literally throwing herself at him, no matter how useless she is as a kunoichi, or how pink her hair is, or flat her chest, as Naruto said. I'm not throwing myself at him and I haven't reached puberty yet, Sakura yelled. Then do tell, what do you call it so we all can get our vocabulary right, Naruto asked. I'm just supporting him, she said. By throwing yourself at him, Naruto asked. No, by being there when he needs me, Sakura said. Even when he shows no interest in girls. I think I even caught him looking at my ass once. Why do you think I never turn my back on him when he is near me, Naruto said with a smirk. Sasuke-kun is not gay. You're the one who is gay, Naruto no baka, Sasuke yelled. I happen to know for a fact that Naruto is not gay, Funa said with a small blush as she remembered Naruto poking her just above her ass when went flying in his paper plane and knew it wasn't his hands because they was wrapped around her waist. Naruto also had a small blush as he remembered that. Sakura, can you get off my table before you have to eat your food on the floor, Tsunade said. Sorry, Miss Tsunade, Sakura said. I'm done. I'm going to get some training in before we have to watch Gigi build his bridge, Naruto said, leaving the house. I'll be ready in 30 minutes, Tazuna called after him. Funa, can you help me in the kitchen? Tsunade asked. Sure. Funa walked in the kitchen with her plate. What's up, she asked. How was your time with Naruto last night? You two was gone for quite a while, Tsunade asked. Well, it was great, she replied. Funa then made sure no one was listening. He has a bloodline that allows him to use kami origami also. He made this large airplane thing and we went flying over the country. It was so fun. I didn't want it to end, she said. Tsunade smiled. Sounds romantic, she said. She then looked at Funa. You like him, don't you, she asked. Funa actually blushed hard. What makes you ask that, she asked. Aside from that blush, you have been finding reasons to be with him the entire time you was here. I mean, make sure he is safe. What is the worst he will have to deal with? A few swordsmen. They are nothing compared to a shinobi who can make a full garden in 5 minutes, Tsunade said. Funa sighed. Honestly, I do. He just make me feel like a normal person. I'm not Princess Funa or Funa the heir to the Uchiha clan or Funa the girl who was born with Madara's talent with him. I'm just Funa teammate and friend, and he treats me like he treats his other friends even if we only knew each other for a few months. And honestly, when we was flying in his paper plane, and he had his arms around my waist protectively, I felt as if that was where I belong. Like he was my knight in shiny orange armor, she said. Tsunade nodded. I remember that feeling when I fell in love with Inari's Otosan, except the flying around in a giant paper plane, of course. But you should talk to him about how you feel. You don't want to be sending him mixed signals. And that's what you're doing, and he is getting confused by them, she said. You think I should? From what I understand he is dating this kunoichi named Hinata Hyuga. And we are rivals. I don't want to mess their relationship up, Funa said. I met him before a few years ago, and if I remember correctly Naruto was the heir to 3 clans and was able to have more than one wife if he wants. So yes, I would suggest you talk to him before he closes off any chances and puts you in the friend-only category, Tsunade said. Thanks Tsunade, I'll go talk to him now, Funa said, then hugged the older woman and ran out the house. Funa ran through the trees and found Naruto in a clearing with his shirt off sparing his clone. She took a deep breath and walked out. You know, training is better if you have an actual person with you, that way they can tell you the mistakes you're making, she said. Yeah, but the only person I would spar with without the worry of them trying to steal my moves is you, and I needed to get away from you to think clearly, he said. She nodded. Can we spar? I need to talk to you but I'm too distracted by my own thoughts. Sparring will help get them straight, she said. Sure, Naruto said and dispelled his clones. The two started sparring. 5 minutes into the spar Funa started. I talked with Tsunade, and she told me I was sending you mixed signals, she said. Yes, usually I can tell what a person wants but you I can't. Sometimes I get the feeling you only want to be a friend, then others it's like you hate me. Then at times like last night I feel as if we really connected and you wanted more than just friendship. Quite frankly Funa, you're a very confusing kunoichi, he said. She smiled. Honestly I don't truly know what I want, but I know that I want to be with you. I like you, Naruto, and I am not sure when it started but last night I felt that when you had your arms around my waist in your paper plane that I was protected from everything. In the world you don't treat me like a princess or like I'm Grandpa Madara's legacy. You treat me like Funa, which is what I want to be treated like, she said. Imagine a direct descendant of Madara and a direct descendant of the Tobirama talking about becoming more than friends, Naruto said. They stopped sparring and looked at each other and laughed at the irony of it. After they stopped laughing they laid down with Funa resting her head on Naruto's chest. We need to get back to our team before they come looking for us, Naruto said. Don't worry, we can send them clones so we don't have to deal with their crap today. I personally want to go swimming, Funa said. But we have to go to the bridge with Tsunade, Naruto said. Which crosses the ocean, Naruto. We can still swim there, Funa said. Back at Tsunami House Tsunade was finished getting dressed and walked into the living room. Whereas Naruto and Funa, they are supposed to come with me to the bridge, he asked. The two named genins ran into the house sweating. We are here. Sorry we got distracted by our spar, Naruto said. Tsunami tossed Funa 2 apples and winked at her. Funa caught the 2 and gave one to Naruto. Here, Naruto, she said, giving him an apple. Well, let's get going. That bridge ain't going to build itself, Tsunade said, walking out the house. They got to the bridge and both Funa and Naruto made a few kagebushins. They then took off their clothes, leaving Naruto in his boxers and Funa in her bra and panties. Naruto looked at her and blushed. She has the body type of some, it's so sexy, he thought. Funa looked at him. Are you going to stare at my body or come swim with me? She then jumped in the water followed by Naruto. 2 weeks later, Naruto woke up late in the morning to Funa's shaking him. She slowly sat up. What time is it? He asked. It's 11 already. Everyone else is at the bridge. Funa sent me to wake you, the clone said. What 11? Why didn't they wake me? Naruto panicked. Because you overworked yourself training last night, and Funa thought you needed the rest, the clone said. Naruto swung his feet off the bed. I'm going to shower, he said, and walked out the room. A few minutes later Naruto was walking downstairs. Well, I'm off to the bridge, he said. Wait here, eat some fruit on your way, Tsunade yelled from the kitchen. Okay, thanks, Naruto replied. Hey Naruto, leave a clone just in case Gaara's men try something with Tsunade's family to get him to stop building the bridge, Funa said. Good idea, Kagebushin no Jutsu. Naruto created 1 clone and went outside. Kami origami. Paper plane, he said, putting his hands on the ground, creating a paper plane and jumping in it. Soon he was taking off towards the bridge high up in the sky. Wow, that's so cool, Inari yelled. Yes it is. But you can't tell anyone about that. After the mission is over we will create a clone to stay behind for a few hours to fly you and your cousin around the country, Naruto's clone said. That would be nice, Tsunade said. At the bridge Kakashi was fighting Zabuza while Sasuke and Funa was trying to fight Kisame. Sakura was guarding Tsunade. Kakashi was slowly getting the upper hand on Zabuza while Kisame was having the time of his life with Funa and Sasuke. Funa of course had her Sharingan active, copying all his moves and jutsus. They both was knocked back by Kisame as he swung his Samahata at them. He started to laugh. Is this the best that 2 Uchihos can do? Granted I wouldn't expect some genins to beat me, but still, Kisame said. Shut up you overgrown sushi, Funa said. Kisame just laughed. Naruto was now directly over the bridge and found Funa's chakra source. He jumped out of his plane and fell towards the ground extremely fast. He bit his thumb and swiped it across his seal, grabbing his gun blade. He got closer and saw a blue figure looming walking towards Funa and Sasuke. He thought he saw Funa looked up at him because she attacked Kisame, but wasn't sure. Before he had another thought he slammed his gun blade on the ground, cutting Kisame across his arm, but missed taking it off as he had intended. Kisame jumped back in surprise as he sensed Naruto at the last minute but dropped his Samahata in pain as his arm was cut deeply by the blonde. You fucking bastard, you will pay for that, he yelled. About time you got here, Naruto, Funa said. Sorry for oversleeping, Naruto said. Don't be, if he was here from the start then we all would have been getting our ass kicked. This way we at least have a chance to fight him since he can only use 1 arm, Funa said. Why the hell is it so foggy, Naruto asked. It's a jutsu that Zabuza used, Funa said. Naruto went through some hand signs. Futon, great breakthrough, he said. The resulting wind blew the fog away, making everything clear again. Looks like your only cover is gone Zabuza, your life is next. Kakashi went through some hand signs. Chidori, he used his Sharingan to freeze Zabuza while he plunged the attack into his heart. Damn it, Kisame grabbed his weapon and vanished in a burst of speed. Gato and all his men came up to the bridge. Looks like shinobis are useless, he said. Damn, I don't have enough chakra to fight them, Kakashi cursed. Leave this to me, Naruto said, stepping up. Taju Kagebushin no Jutsu, he yelled, creating 500 clones. You know what to do, he said. The clones, all with gunblade in hand, attacked the samurais. Naruto went and dragged Gato over. What about him, Naruto asked. Kakashi threw a kunai at Gato's head, killing him. What about him, he asked. Naruto shrugged and threw him back towards the other dead people. Naruto burned Gato and his men, then bury Zabuza, Kakashi ordered. What, why do I have to do the grunt work, Naruto yelled. Because you didn't do anything else, Kakashi said. What about Sakura? She didn't do anything. And I killed Gato's men, Naruto said. She protected Tsunade, Kakashi said. I'll help you, Naruto. Funu offered and went to pull the bodies into one pile. A few days later, Team 7 was standing in front of the newly built bridge. We must thank you for helping us get this bridge finished. Now we can start to bring money back to our country, Tsunade said. Otusan, we need a name for the bridge, Tsunami said. The super cool bridge built by Tsunade, the old man replied. No, Tsunami said. The awesome bridge of Nami no Kuni, Tsunade asked. Try again, Tsunami said. How about the awesome Naruto Uzumaki bridge, Inari suggested. Yes, I like it, Tsunade said. I agree, it's a perfect name, Tsunami said. Looks like you made a great impression on the country, Funa said. Naruto was speechless about the bridge being named after him. Well, team, time to get back to Konoha, Kakashi said and walked off. Naruto and Funa stayed behind for a few seconds. Taju Kagebushin no Jutsu, Naruto said. Kagebushin no Jutsu, Funa said. Naruto created 200 clones while Funa created 20. You know what to do, they both said and caught up with their team. At Konoha's gate, Naruto and Funa got the information back from their clones and smiled. It took longer to make a few farms and trees than I thought it would, Naruto said quietly. Yes, it also took a while to teach the people how to fish and create flour from wheat. The only one who knew how to do it was Tsunami, Funa said. What are you two talking about, Kakashi asked. Nothing, they both said. They arrived in the Hokage's office. How was the mission, the third asked. Besides Naruto not following orders, it was fine, Kakashi said. Not following orders, the third asked. I was injured and I told Naruto to help Sasuke with a few jutsus that I have, and he argued that he wasn't going to help Sasuke and went on about kicking him out of a paper airplane. Whatever that is, Kakashi said. What, you lie, it wasn't anything like that. You tried to make me teach Team MY jutsus that I worked hard to learn, Naruto yelled. Naruto, be quiet until I give you permission to speak, the third aide. But Gigi, Naruto was cut off. Be quiet or I will be forced to call Conan. And she is in a pissed off mood right now, the third said. Naruto huffed and shut up. Now Kakashi, I want a full report, the third said. Kakashi told him the mission report, with a few alterations to make Sasuke look good and Naruto look like he was a waste of time. So as you can see, the only useful thing Naruto did was find some fresh food and locate where Gato hideout was. He finished. Is that all, the third asked? Yes, Kakashi replied. Okay, you're all dismissed. Naruto and Funa, you two stay, he said. Once the other three was gone, he addressed them. I know Kakashi is showing favorites towards Sasuke and altered the mission report to make him look good. I had an A and B. Follow the team during the entire mission. What he told me is why Conan is so pissed off. But more importantly, you two must learn to deal with them if you want to succeed as ninjas, because you can't advance in ranks if you are kicked off your team for insubordination. Next time Kakashi requests for any of you to show Sasuke a jutsu, tell him you can't because your jutsus are clan only, and don't make a scene with it, he told them. Okay, Naruto said. Good, now what's this paper plan Kakashi talked about, the third asked. Well, Gigi, it's a jutsu that Kazan taught me. Using our kami origami we can create a paper plane strong enough to fly up to 2 people. It's a great way to transport injured people or just to fly around for fun, Naruto said with a smile. Is that so? You will have to show it to me one day. The third was interrupted by a knock on the door. Come in, he said. Yubigo and her team came into the room. We are back from our mission. Oh, I didn't know you was busy, she said, seeing Naruto and Funa. Oh, I'm not. We was just catching up and I learned an interesting fact about Naruto that I never knew, the third said. Oh, well, the mission was a success, and Hinata expertly negotiated a treaty between Konoha and Kiri, Yubigo said. I must say, Hinata, your skills with political things is as good as if not surpassing your cousin. You have a bright future as a diplomat, the third praised. Hinata blushed slightly. Thank you, Hokage-sama, she said. Well, if that is everything, you all can leave. I have a lot of paperwork to do, as you can see, the third said. Why don't you use Kagebushin? They will help greatly with your work, Naruto asked. The third just chuckled at the simple solution as everyone left. Hey, Naruto, want to come to my compound? I'm cooking lunch when I get there, Sudara asked. Really, I'm hungry. I would love to come. Your cooking is so good, Naruto said excitedly while Yubigo laughed lightly. Naruto then thought about something. Wait, I need to talk to Hina, he said. Hinata looked at him confused, then at Funu and back. About what, she asked. Naruto fidgeted. Can we talk in private, he asked. Okay, she led him down the hallway. Now Hina, I want to ask, he was cut off. I approve, she said. Naruto asked, dumbfounded. You want to ask if you can bring Funu in on our family, and since I'm the lead girl you need to ask me, and she needs my approval, and I approve of her, Hinata said. How did you know, Naruto asked. Hinata smiled. Naruto-kun, we have been best friends since before we can remember. I know you better than you know yourself, and you only get this nervous when it's about our family. It was the same thing with Kirai, Haku, And Riri, even though she isn't officially in it yet. And Funu is a nice girl when you get to know her, and she is strong mentally and physically. Not to mention when I need to kick someone's ass I won't have to go far to find her, she said. You're the best, Hina, Naruto said, hugging her and kissing her. They caught up with her team. So Uchiha, are you coming with us? Hinata asked. Funu met her eyes. Sure, whatever, Hyuga, she said. Naruto, don't forget to let Tsunade and Conan know. You know how they hate surprises like this, Hinata said. At the Senju compound, Naruto and Funu walked into the Senju compound after leaving the Akimichi compound, and Hinata explaining how things worked with their harem. Basically, it was Hinata automatically gets the original Naruto when there are more than one girl around. Unless Naruto was already with a girl, then they could keep him. All girls first need to prove to Naruto that they like him for him, and not his name or bloodlines. All girls need Hinata's approval. Only the combined approval or denial of both Tsunade and Conan can overrule Hinata's decision on a girl. All girls called Naruto by the name Naruto to show everyone else that they was part of the family. All girls must have a summon or sign a summon contract before they are considered part of the family. All girls must be independent, and not wait for Naruto to take care of them. And finally, all girls are to treat each other like sisters. That didn't mean they couldn't have a friendly rivalry between them. Funin nervously followed Naruto, wondering if his cousin and Itoko would like her or deny her from being with Naruto. She blocked those thoughts out of her head and walked behind Naruto with the confidence that she would be accepted. Wait here, Funu, I have to make sure that they are not in a meeting, Naruto said, and walked into the house. He looked around. Cousin Itoko, he called out. In the kitchen, Conan replied. Naruto walked into the kitchen and saw Conan, Shizen, Tsunade, Enko, Kurenai, Rin, Kirei, Haku, and Riri sitting at the table. What's going on, he asked. Nothing, just bored, Riri replied. Oh, Naruto said. So did you want something, Naruto-chan? Conan asked. Oh yes, well, Hinata approved of someone, and well, you know, he said. Oh, she did. What's her name? Conan asked. Funin, Naruto whispered quietly. I didn't hear you, Naruto-chan, Conan said. Funin, Naruto said louder. The Uchiha girl, Tsunade asked. Yes, he replied. Why would Hinata approve of her? I thought they hated each other, Kirei asked. They don't hate each other, they are more of rivals. I can understand why she approved, though they fight every time they see each other just like real sisters, Enko said. Well, bring her in, Conan said. Naruto went to get Funu and brought into the kitchen. So I finally meet the only sane member of Naruto-chan team, Conan said. So why should I approve of you, Tsunade asked. Well, honestly, I didn't know I liked Naruto until our last mission in Nami no Kuni, when Tsunami, who by the is very nice, told me I was sending him mixed signals. Once I was able to clear my thoughts, I found out that in fact I did like him more than the friend I thought of him as, Funa said. What made you realize you liked him though, Conan asked. Well, every time Sensei would demand Naruto to teach Sasuke a jutsu, I would end up just as mad as Naruto was. Then one day when Naruto left the house to clear his thought, I ran after him without think and tried all I could to make him happy again. Then he asked me if I wanted to see one of his jutsus, the paper plane one. He flew me around and had his arms around my waist so protectively, yet in a gentle way also. That's when I knew I would do anything to get him to wrap his arms around me like that again. And to see his bright smile, Funa told them. Tsunade nodded. I'm actually surprised you told us all that. Most girls would have tried to impress us by talking about how they can add to our clan to make it stronger, and stuff like that, she said. Well, I do want to be with someone who is strong and protect me. But I'm a kunoichi and I don't like bragging about my skills. Besides, there is nothing I can give your clan that will make it stronger. The Senju is historically one of the strongest clan, and the only clan to have 2 sub-clans branching off from it. If anything, you all can help me get stronger, Funa said. Tsunade smiled. I like you, you have my approval, she said. Conan looked at Funu. How do you feel about avenging you clan, she asked. Funa had a distant look in her eyes. Well, if I come across Itachi, then I will fight him. But I won't waste my life seeking revenge, she said. Will you use my nephew for your revenge, Conan asked. Nephew? I thought you was his cousin, Funa asked. No, his Okasan was my older sister. Now answer my question, Conan said. If he wants to help, then I won't stop him. But I also won't force him to help, it's completely up to him. Like I said, I'm not looking for revenge. I'm sure Itachi had more of a reason than just testing his power. Also, I really don't want revenge just to find out the truth, Funa said. Conan looked at her for 10 long minutes. Funa got nervous under her gaze. You have my approval, she finally said. Funa smiled. Thank you, you won't regret your decision, she said. Now there are a few requirements you have to meet. First, do you have a summon, Tsunade asked. Summoning no jutsu, Funa said, and summoned a small lion. Naruto helped me find the contract while we was in Nami no Kuni, she said. Okay, second, you will refer to Naruto-chan as Naruto-kun whether it's out in public or in private, Conan said. Okay, Funa replied. Next, Hina gets first choice of the original Naruto when he makes clones of himself for everyone, Tsunade said. Funa nodded. Next, you have to go through our family training program, which consists of learning you to use 20 different weapons and 4 different taijutsu styles, Conan said. You must decide if you are to move into the Senju compound or stay at your apartment, Tsunade said. I want to live here if I can, Funa said quickly. Next, since you are the heir to the Uchiha clan, I expect you to bring a copy of all the scrolls, jutsu and information scrolls, in the Uchiha compound here for your reference. And I expect you to have 2 Uchiha babies with my nephew by the time you turn 18. Don't feel like we are being hard, everyone has the same restrictions as you. Even Hina, his first original girlfriend. The 3 you see here already have met all the requirements except have 2 children, Conan said. Also you have to add your chakra and blood to all the seals in the compound, and you are not to go in another bedroom without the personal consent of who the room belonged to, Tsunade said. Oh, one more thing, in our library you will find different sections: Senju, Namikaze, Uzumaki, Hyuga, Haku, Jiraiya, Rin, Riri, Kagaya, Medarashi, Yujito, Yuhi, Yuzuki, and Naruchan will add an Uchiha section later today. All sections with a name over it is off limits except to the family of that person. There is also a main section that is open to everyone with all types of jutsus and scrolls for you to study. But if you are caught in a section that is off limits to you for any reason except the person whose section you're in being there with you, well, you don't want to know what will happen, as every section has multiple traps and even I won't survive in those sections, Conan said. Funa nodded her understanding. So can Naruto go in other sections, she asked. No, even Naruchan is forbidden in a section that does not have his blood in the seal, Conan said. Just stay out any section that's not your, and you will be saved. Also I suggest you write down a complete scroll for every jutsu you copy with your Sharingan so your kids can learn them, Tsunade said. That reminds me, you're forbidden to use your Sharingan to copy any of our family's jutsus. The family includes Anko, Haku, Hinata, Jiraiya, Kirai, Kurinai, me, Naruto, Rin, Riri, Shizen, Tsunade, Yujito, and Yugogo, Conan said. Okay, I have a question. You named Shizen on the family list but no on the Forbidden Library section. Why? And why aren't the Namikaze, Senju, and Uzumaki in one section if they are descendants of the Senju clan? Funa asked. Well, Funa's Shizen is part of the family, but she chose not to make a forbidden section, and just make her section the medic section since most of her jutsus are in that field, except a few element jutsus she uses which are in the main section. As for your second question, the Namikaze and Uzumaki are descendants of the Senju, but we can't use each other's jutsus, meaning the Senju can't use Kami Origami that the Uzumaki use, neither can the Namikaze. And the Uzumaki and Namikaze can't use Mokuton jutsus, and the Senju or Uzumaki can't use the seals that the Namikaze are famous for. Naruchan is truly the only person able to use all three at the moment. Just how you and Hinata are descendants of each other but you can't use each other clan-specific jutsus, Conan said. Now Funa here is an extra large scroll. It should be big enough to hold everything in the Uchiha compound you need to bring. Once you come back, Naruchan will have your section completed and your bedroom will be marked with your name, Tsunade said, handing her a huge scroll. Also you will see a section that has summoning scrolls in it. You can put your lion contract in it so you won't have to keep carrying it around, Conan said. A few weeks later, Funa read the scrolls for the different weapon styles she was supposed to learn with her 20 clones. Each clone had a scroll for a different weapon, cutting down the time it would take to learn them to just a few weeks. Surprising to everyone, she got along well with Riri since they both had the same attitude. At the moment the two Kunoichis was in the Senju training grounds going over the last level for Funa, then she would be finished learning how to use the 19 different weapons, since she was already a level 5 master with the bow staff. Naruto walked up to them. Hey, want to go flying with me? He asked. Sure, Naruto-kun, I'm tired from training so much anyway, Riri said. Me too, Funa said. Naruto made a clone and produced 2 paper airplanes. Which of us get the real Naruto-kun? Riri asked. Let's flip a coin for it, Funa suggested. Fine, Riri said. And flipped a coin. The 4 hopped in the 2 planes and they took off. They was flying over the village up high so no one could see them but close enough so they could see everything. Naruto flew them over the training ground to see if anyone was there, and was surprised to find Kakashi training Sasuke. The 3 shinobis plus the clone looked down on them train. Funa activated her Sharingan and copied the jutsus that Kakashi was teaching Sasuke. Eventually Kakashi demonstrated the Chidori and Raikiri both, which was copied by Funa. Hey, let's go back to the compound. I want to try something, Funa said after she measured how Kakashi was using his chakra. Naruto flew them back to the compound and Funa immediately got off the plane and went through some hand signs. The first 2 tries nothing but small sparks came out. On her 3rd try she put as much chakra as she could in it. Chidori, she yelled. The jutsu worked properly and was so loud Naruto and Riri covered their ears and Conan and Yujito ran out the house to see what was happening. Funa then passed out from chakra depletion. Naruto caught her before she hit the ground. What the hell happened? Conan asked. We was flying over the village and found Kakashi training Sasuke and she copied his jutsu and wanted to see if she could do it, Naruto said. She will never be able to use it right unless she goes through right training, Yujito said. I'll collect everyone so you can put them all through the training, Conan said. Sure. Personally I think everyone should be trained to use any element, Yujito said. We might start that, Conan said. 2 months later, Suduru was walking around the village bored when she saw Naruto talking to the Konohamaru Corps. She went over to them. Hello, Naruto, she said. Hi, Suduru, want to play with us? Naruto said. What are you playing? Suduru asked. Ninja, Konohamaru said happily. I would love to play, Suduru said. How pathetic, ninjas playing ninjas. They heard a female's voice behind them. They turned around. Boss, who is the flat-chested, big forehead, pink-haired, loud-mouthed girl? Konohamaru asked. That would my teammate, Naruto said. I feel sorry if you have to deal with that, Moigi said. I feel sorry for myself. The only thing she does right is get in the way, Naruto said. Naruto, she may be useless but it's not nice to talk about people, Suduru nicely told him. I think she can still hear us. Udan pointed to the fuming, pissed off Sakura marching over to them. No worries, she won't dare touch me. My grandfather is the Hokage, Konohamaru said. Naruto, no baka, why are you corrupting those innocent kids and that poor Akimichi with your nonsense? She swung her fist at Naruto, but was stopped by Suduru. Don't touch my friend, you useless excuse for a kunoichi, or I will put you in the hospital, Suduru threatened. Let's see you try. Sakura went through some hand signs. Bushin no jutsu, she said. People actually use that jutsu in a fight, Naruto asked. Sakura was just as shocked by the useless jutsu. Go figure, it's the only one she can use with her pathetic chakra, she said. She then went through some hand signs, secret art, body expansion, right arm, and smacked all three Sakuras, sending the real one flying back. Sakura tried to get up but was surrounded by Funu, Hinata, Kirei, Haku, Riri, and Suduru. She looked at the girls. What do you all want, she asked. Why do you always have to attack Naruto? Hinata asked. He is corrupting those kids, and Suduru. Sakura yelled. I can't be corrupted unless I want to be, Suduru said. That's just Naruto no baka messing with your head, Sakura replied. Funu smirked. I'm going to love our spar later today in team training. It's been a while since I went all out on someone who is not a Hyuga, she said, looking evilly at Sakura. Said girl gulped. I have to go. She then tried to run past Riri but was stopped by her outstretched arm. Be lucky, Naruto, and Funu needs you alive to take the Chunin exams or I would kill you where you stand, she said, then moved away from the frightened girl. Wow boss, these girls are way better looking than the pink-haired wench, Konohamaru said. Konohamaru, don't use that language, Naruto told him. Sorry. Hey, you all want to play ninja with us? Konohamaru asked. Okay, they all replied and started to play ninja. The Konohamaru course surprised them at how good their teamwork was. Once they was finished playing, they was about to go to a restaurant when Suduru offered to cook. Hey Suduru, I have a recipe book, can you cook something out of it? Naruto asked, hopping around with hope. Suduru smiled. Of course I can, Naruto, she said. Yes, Suduru is the best, Naruto cheered, pulling out the scroll that had all his recipe books he collected in them. After they ate the western food Suduru cooked, she thought about something. Naruto, you should take one of these books to Tucci so he can add the food to his restaurant and get more business. He told me that besides me and you he don't get much business, she said. I will, Naruto said. Funu just finished kicking Sakura's ass around the training ground, which Kakashi stopped after he realized that Funu wasn't holding back like she usually did. He ID'd a minor healing jutsu and healed the beaten girl. Funu walked over to the bench and sat down with a satisfied look on her face. Wow, Funu, you was serious when you said you wasn't going to hold back, wasn't you? Naruto asked. Naruto, she has to learn her place. And as long as she keeps that attitude I will keep putting her in her place, Funu said. That sounded like something team would say, Naruto said. Funu shrugged. We both know she is the lesser kunoichi on this team and her cocky attitude is starting to wear thin on my patience with her. But more importantly, when are you going to put team in his place, she asked. And risk him stealing my taijutsu and jutsus? No thank you, Naruto said. You know, the longer he thinks he is the same level as you, the more he will treat you as if you're just Kyuubi in human form, Funu said. I know, but I don't want to risk anything. You saw how easy it is to piss Kazan off. If I accidentally show my bloodlines to them, she will flip freaking waffles on my ass, he said. Funu laughed. Where did you get that one from, she asked. Suduru made waffles this morning. And let me try them. I tell you, if cooking was a ninja form, Suduru would rule this world, Naruto said. You really like her cooking, don't you, Funu asked. Yes, also she is a pretty damn good kunoichi. But I'm confused about her, how can she eat that much but still have a figure that rivals Tsum and Hana Inuzuka, Naruto asked. Been checking out the Inuzuka head and air out, have you, Funu asked, smirking. What, no, I may have peeped here and there on them but nothing bad, Naruto panicked. Funu laughed. You know, if they catch you, not even Conan will save you, she said. I think Hana already caught me once because she looked right at the spot I was and smirked, then continued to undress and walked around naked for a few minutes before getting in the shower, Naruto said. I'll talk to her about it. Don't worry, I won't say anything about you, Funu said. Naruto, I need you to help Sasuke perfect some jutsus, Kakashi piped up. No, I'm not teaching him a damn thing, Naruto said. I'm not asking, Kakashi said. And I'm not helping, my jutsus are the property of Uzumaki Incorporated and will stay that way, Naruto replied. If you don't, I will not allow you to enter the Chunin exams, Kakashi said. Again, I say bullshit because I know for a fact you want leave team out of these exams, Naruto said. I need to find out why Rin gave you cousin Obito's Sharingan because I doubt he asked for it to be given to you, Funu said. Obito was my best friend, Kakashi said. I don't care, I'm not teaching team a damn thing, Naruto said. Naruto no baka, why are you holding Sasuke-kun back, Sakura yelled. Why do he flip sticks, Naruto retorted. Sasuke-kun is not gay. Sakura got up and started to march over to Naruto. Haruno, do you really want to do what you're thinking of doing, Funu asked, tilting her head to the side. Funu no baka, Sakura huffed and sat down. Good girl, now repeat after me, I will not touch Naruto again, Funu said. Funu, I would not like my name to come out of her mouth like that, Naruto said, interrupting her. Fine, repeat this, Haruno. I will not touch Naruto because if I do, Funu-sama will kick my ass up and down the village again, Funu said. Sakura just glared at the Uchiha girl. Idiot, fight me, Sasuke said. Teen, go flip sticks with someone else. I already told you I like swimming in the pond, Naruto said. Again, I can attest to that statement personally, Funu said happily. Funu, you're a disgrace to all the Uchiha killed by Itachi, focusing on love instead of trying to avenge their deaths, Sasuke said. Funu looked at the older Uchiha. I don't care about revenge. My parents was killed on a mission when I was 2. All the Uchihas did was treat me as if I'm a fragile object. They all was scared to treat me like a kid because I'm a few generations the granddaughter of Madara, the first Uchiha with the Manjiki Sharingan, and you say that I'm a disgrace. No, the disgrace is you. Uchihas don't go looking for revenge, they learn from their mistakes and get stronger. If I cross Itachi, then I will fight him. Not for revenge, but because he will be my enemy, and that's the only reason I will fight him, she said. A week later, Funu was walking through the village and was surprised that Hinata joined her on her walk. Where are you headed, Uchiha? She asked. To the Akimichi compound. Naruto told me I should try Suduru waffles and I wanted to taste them. Where are you going? Hyuga Funu replied. Nowhere. I was bored and saw you and decided to walk with you, Hinata said. Want to join me at Sudoru's? Funa asked. Sure, Hinata said. They arrived at the Akimichi compound and Suduru opened the door. What a surprise! If I knew I would be having company I would have woke up earlier to prepare, she said. Don't worry, Suduru, you look fine, Hinata said. So what do I owe the pleasure? Suduru asked. Well, Naruto have been talking about your waffles all week, and kept telling me I should try them, so here I am. Hinata joined me out of boredom, Funa said. Suduru eyed them both. No fighting in my house. Kazan was pissed last time you two was here, she said. We promise not to fight, Hinata said. Come on in, you can go to my room while I shower, Suduru said. An hour later, Hinata, Funu, Choji, and Suduru was eating waffles, while Suduru Naruto was right. These waffles are amazing, Funa said. I agree, you will make some guy very happy with your cooking. Along with your looks, someone will be lucky to be your boyfriend, Hinata said. Choji coughed on his food. What's this about boyfriends? He said after he got his cough under control. What, Choji? I don't have a boyfriend, I promise, Suduru said, waving her hands in front of her. Sorry, we didn't mean it like that. We was saying that in the future when she does have a boyfriend, Funa said. Choji calmed down. Good. No boy gets close to my Amuto without my permission and approval, he said. Wow, overprotective a little, Choji, Hinata asked. You're one to talk, Funa said. Hinata blushed. That is completely different, she said. How? Funa asked. What are you talking about? Choji asked. Well, me and Naruto have been best friends for as long as we could remember. Over the years we became closer and now I'm his girlfriend. Well, one of them. But he can't get another one without my permission and approval. Hinata then explained everything to the two Akimichis. You mean Naruto already is taken? Suduru pouted and dropped her shoulders. Funu, Hinata, and Choji looked at her. You like Naruto? Choji asked. I liked him the first time I saw him at the ramen restaurant, and we had that eating competition, which I easily won. But over the months and all his praises on my cooking and the spars we had, I started to develop more feelings than just like for him. I can say I'm in love with him, Suduru said. Choji, Hinata, and Funu was shocked. They didn't know what to say. It was quiet for a few minutes. Will you be willing to share? Hinata finally spoke up. That's one of the first things that Akimichis learn. Why? Suduru asked. Well, if you are willing to give it a try, we could let you join our sisterhood, Hinata said. Sisterhood? Suduru asked. Yeah, it's me, Funu, Kirai Haku, Riri, Yujito, Enko, Kurinai Yugago, Shizen, and Rin, Hinata said. Choji, what do you think? Suduru asked. Choji thought. Will my Amuto be protected? He asked. Yup, Hinata said. Will she be treated as an equal? Choji asked. Of course, the only thing different than how she is treated now is she will be part of our sisterhood and get to go through our clan training, which since you're her twin you can go through. Also, Hanabi has already started it, but is going at a much slower pace than you will be going at, Hinata said. Choji nodded, thinking, I think you should. Naruto is a great guy, and fun. He is the type of guy I would want you to be with, he finally said. Really, thanks so much, Choji, Suduru said, hugging him. Yeah, get off me, Suduru, Choji said. Come on, Suduru, we have to ask Tsunade and Conan for approval, then tell you the clan rules, Hinata said while she and Funa grabbed her hands and left, leaving Choji to clean the table. The three arrived at the Senju compound and found Conan and Tsunade in the living room. What brings you three here so early? Don't you have team training? Tsunade asked. Yes, but this is important, Funa said. What's so important? Conan asked. Suduru wants to join us, Hinata said. Conan looked at her. I approve, she said. I approve, Tsunade said. What, that's it? No long questions about her motives or anything like that, Funa asked. Nope, Tsunade said. What, why not? Funa asked. Conan shrugged. Suduru has almost the purest of heart a person can be. Besides, a member of her clan didn't kill everyone in it but two, and another member isn't hell-bent on revenge, she said. So I went through all that because of what those two did and is doing. That's hardly fair, Funa asked. We needed to make sure that you're not just using Naruchan to get revenge on Itachi. It had absolutely nothing to do with you personally. But we needed to protect our clan, Conan said. Funa sighed. That makes sense, she said. Then told Suduru the rules and about her needing to bring a copy of the Jutsu scrolls in her compound to her personal section of the library later today, and about her training she will undergo. A few hours later, Funa walked into the Inuzuka compound and was sitting in Hana's room. Said teen walked into her room after talking to her mother. So what brings you here, Funa? I haven't talked to you in a while, Hana asked. I was wondering if you have seen the guy who has been peeping on a few girls around the village, Funa asked. If you're asking if I noticed Naruto peeping on me, then yes, I have. At first I was surprised that he would risk it to peep on me while I showered and changed, but after a while I started to tease him, Hana said. Funa blinked. What makes you think I'm talking about Naruto? She asked. Hana rolled her eyes. Why else would you care? I know you, Funa, and you don't care about no one who is not your friend enough to look after them this much, she said. Oh, so he hasn't been caught by anyone else, Funa asked. Not that I know of, but tell him before he thinks about it. Kazan killed the last person who tried to peep on her, Hana warned. I'll tell him, Funa said. Also, if he want to, he will have to work for it. I'm not going just go to him because he's seen me naked a few times, Hana said before Funa left. 2 weeks later, every ninja in the village was in the Chunin Stadium for the annual Jounin promotion to ANBU and Chunin promotion to Jounin. The notable ninjas there was Rin, Conan, Enko, and Riri, all being promoted to ANBU except Riri, who was being promoted to Jounin. The Hokage had promoted everyone except Rin. Well, usually I would promote everyone, but someone came to me with a request to promote Rin. So will Kakashi come to the stand now, he said. Kakashi walked to the stand and nodded to the Hokage. The last to be promoted is a kunoichi who has shown time after time that she deserves her position not only in the ANBU, but also as one of the elite kunoichis in the village. She has went above everything that was asked of her and came out on top every time. She is in my mind the best kunoichi from this village since Tsunade-sama herself. Everyone clapped. Conan, Anko, and Riri looked at Rin in confusion, who just shrugged just as confused. Now that I talked enough, will Rin please come forward to accept her new ANBU mask and position as head of the ANBU medic unit, Kakashi said. Rin walked up and grabbed her mask. Thank you, Kakashi, she said sweetly. Rin, before you leave, he spoke out, stopping Rin in her tracks. Yes, she asked. Kakashi took a deep breath. We have known each other for a long time, right, he asked. Yes, I would say we even had a thing, Rin said. Yes, well, since you have been gone I realize that you mean so much to me, Kakashi said. Rin smiled. Really, what exactly do I mean to you and how much, she asked sweetly. In the crowd, Tsunade, Conan, Anko, Yugogo, Shizen, Kurenai, Riri, Tsum, and everyone else who knew about Naruto and Kakashi's relationship was looking at Rin in confusion. Everyone else just watched the entire thing play out. Well, you mean everything to me. I love you so much that it hurt me when you was gone for so long, Kakashi said. I mean that much to you. Wait, where are you going with this, Rin asked. Well, you see, we've been through so much since we was genins with Obito and Minato-sensei. I would like to ask for your hand in marriage, Kakashi asked. Everyone looked at him in shock and looked at Rin to see how she would answer. And the marriage, Rin asked. Yes, I can't see myself with any other woman but you, Kakashi said. Ever since we was kids I have liked you, Kakashi. Rin started but stopped and looked at the sky and smiled. In my heart the answer is clear. Kakashi Hatake, I will. Rin stopped to let the suspense build. Answer, stop making us wait, a kunoichi yelled. Rin looked out at the crowd, then back at Kakashi, and punched him square in the nose. Kakashi staggered back and looked at Rin in shock along with everyone else. What, not the answer you wanted, Kakashi, she asked. No, not what I thought you would answer, Kakashi said. Rin smiled sweetly again and punched him again. Well, here's my answer. I will have nothing to do with you, Kakashi Hatake, she yelled at him. Why? We always talked about getting married when we was on the same team, Kakashi asked. Yeah, and Obito had both his eyes in his fucking head, and Sensei wasn't dead, Rin said. What the hell is going on, someone from the crowd yelled. Yeah, I thought you always wanted to marry him, someone else yelled. Tell me, what promise did we make Sensei when he died, Rin asked. That we will protect his family. What does that have to do with anything, Kakashi asked. You have done nothing to protect his family, Rin said. What, they are dead, Kakashi said. Really, last time I checked Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki was alive and well, and I don't think Kushina Uzumaki is dead either, Rin said. What are you talking about? Of course they are dead, Kakashi said. Are you stupid? I swear I shouldn't have gave you that eye from Obito. And it's only because he asked me that I gave it to you. Naruto Uzumaki is the only blonde shinobi that's not related to Ino, and he is on your team, Rin said. What, but he can't be Sensei's son, Kakashi said. Why, Rin asked. Because Kakashi was stomped. Face it, Kakashi, you talk big and strong about teamwork, but all you have done is play favorites towards Sasuke and attempt to force Naruto to teach him jutsus that Naruto spent years learning and mastering, Rin said. No, I haven't. I simply asked Naruto to help Sasuke at times. Kakashi tried to defend himself. Rin punched him again, this time with a chakra-enhanced fist. You ling bastard. I have witnesses who told me that you tried to constantly force Naruto to teach Sasuke his jutsus, including Funa, your other genin, she said. Is that true, Kakashi? Someone in the crowd yelled. No, I would never do something like that, Kakashi said, getting up from the crowd. Rin kicked him, making him fall back to the ground, and stomped her foot on his stomach. So you think I'm making this up? Fine, I'll prove it to you, she said. What are you talking about? Tsunade yelled, just for the hell of it, and she was enjoying seeing him get beat like this. Rin smiled. Well, if you could, can you retrieve Funa Uchiha, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura Haruno, and Naruto Uzumaki? She asked the ANBU that was closest to her. Once the four had arrived, Rin spoke. Now you four are here to answer a simple question, she said. Why is Kakashi-sensei on the ground? Sakura asked. Don't speak until I tell you to, Rin demanded. Sakura shrieked back and mumbled a yes, ma'am. Now first up, Naruto. How does Kakashi treat you during training? She asked. Well, all he does is demand I teach Team No Stick Flipper my jutsus, Naruto said. That's hardly a fair trial. Of course he would say that, Kakashi said. Rin increased the pressure on his stomach. I didn't tell you to speak, did I? She asked. Kakashi was about to reply until Rin glared at him. Now Sakura, what goes on during team training? She asked. Well, Funa no Baka and Naruto no Baka just sits around flirting. Kakashi-sensei tries to get them to do things but they ignore him. And Naruto no Baka holds Sasuke-kun back by not teaching him jutsus like Kakashi-sensei tells him. If you ask me, Naruto no Baka should be punished for holding Sasuke-kun back, and she was cut off by Rin. No asked for all that crap, Bao. Shut up, Funa, Rin said. Well, when he is not reading his porn and looking at me as if he is trying to undress me, Funa visibly shivered. He is reading his porn while demanding either me or Naruto teach Team No Stick Flipper Baka our jutsus, she said. Now Sasuke, if you will, Rin said. Sasuke just turned his nose. I don't have to answer to a half-assed kunoichi like you, he said. Funa, do you mind? Rin asked. Certainly, Funa said and vanished. Sasuke grunted in pain as he found himself on his knees at Rin's feet. Now cousin No Stick Flipper team, answer the question, Funa said with her foot on his back and both his arms and her hands behind his back. Get off me, Funa, Sasuke yelled. Shut up, I'm the heir to the Uchiha clan, not you. I tell you what to do, not the other way around. Now answer the question, Funa said. That's enough, Funa, he don't have to answer the question. We have enough information from him, Rin said. Funa took her foot off Sasuke and let him get up. Now Kakashi, I'm not a kunoichi without compassion or fairness, so I will let you defend yourself, she said. Kakashi stood and tried to save what dignity he had left. I wasn't aware of these circumstances or that Sensei's son was alive, he said. You liar, Rin said. At least give me a chance to make up for my mistake, he asked. Rin smiled her sweet smile, that Kakashi quickly became to fear, and walked up to him and put her arms around his neck, in a hug. Go to hell, Kakashi, she said, introducing her chakra-enhanced knee into his unprotected genitals, getting a high-pitched squeak of pain from him. She watched as his one eye rolled into the back of his head with a smile. Let's let everyone see what you look like under the mask, she said, and reached down and ripped off his mask. She had a thought to spit in his face, but decided not to. The third walked up to the stage. I want to know exactly how much Kakashi favored Sasuke to his other students, so we will have a small match. Naruto versus Sasuke and Funa versus Sakura, he said. Kick his ass, Naruto, Conan yelled. Okay, Naruto and Sasuke begin, the third said. Naruto stood ready as Sasuke attacked him. They exchanged taijutsu at high speed until Sasuke jumped back. Katon, great fireball, Sasuke yelled. Suiton, wall of water, Naruto countered. As the steam from the two attacks cleared, Naruto saw Sasuke running at him. Chidori, Sasuke yelled with his Sharingan active. Sasuke plunged his fist into Naruto's chest. Now kneel to me, he said. Naruto fell face first, and the entire stadium went quiet. Then all of a sudden there was a loud coughing noise behind Sasuke. Said boy turned in confusion and looked back at the Naruto on the ground. What the hell, he said. My very first successful jutsu I created on my own. It's a blood clone, very useful for situations where I need to fake my death like now, Naruto said. Impossible, you didn't do any hand signs, Sasuke said. Who said it uses hand signs? It's more of a summon type jutsu. But I have no desire to explain it to you. Naruto then went through some hand signs. Chidori, he yelled. He ran at Sasuke at full speed. A debris from the stadium filled the air. Once it was clear, Sasuke was frozen in his place with fear while Naruto had his hand planted elbow deep in the ground right under him. Unlike you, I don't attempt to kill people in a spar, he said, and forced his arm out, causing it to dislocate from his shoulder and rip the skin from his elbow down off his arm. Impressive display of skill, Naruto, the third said. You should have killed him, Conan yelled. How long until your blood clone is gone, the third asked. No clue, this is the first time I was able to create one successfully, Naruto said. Tsunade appeared next to them. Incredible, I could use one of these clones to make so many medical discoveries and possible find a way to remove that seal from Enko, she said. Amatoko, are you going to heal my arm, Naruto asked. Tsunade looked at him. No, she said. What, why, Naruto whined. Because I told you next time you do something like that to show off I'm not healing you. Besides, it's already healing, Tsunade said. How did you learn my jutsu, Kakashi yelled. Funa taught me, Naruto shrugged. How did she learn it, Kakashi yelled. I'm an Uchiha, it's what we do, Funa said. Are we going to fight now? I want to kick Funa no Baka, asked Sakura said. Funa looked at her and went through some hand signs. Right, Kiri, she said. I'm ready when you are flat chest, she said, holding the loud jutsu up so all could see. I think a fight between you two will be unnecessary, the third said. I'll fight her, Hinata said, appearing out of nowhere in a shunshin of water. Suiton. Kdori, she said, holding up a water Chidori and looking at Funa. Both was ready to attack each other. That won't be needed. I would like you both to survive at least long enough to take the Chunin exam, the third said. Naruto, is this blood clone a perfect clone of you, Tsunade asked. Yes, why, Naruto asked. Because if it is, then you have a seal on the top of your head, Tsunade said, looking at the clone's head. A seal, Naruto asked. Yes, I'll have Jiraiya study this before he look at yours, Tsunade said, and grabbed the clone and vanished. Well, want to go out to lunch, my treat, Naruto asked Hinata and Funa. They both shrugged and finally ended their jutsu at the thought of free food. Okay, what just happened, someone in the crowd asked. Sasuke got his ass handed to him, so did Kakashi, and his only two personal jutsus are no longer known by only him, Enko said.